Yeah, you know what time it is. It's time for the Geekenders podcast. MegaRan, Jesse and Dodger, what up? Let's go. Yo, it's the weekend. Yeah, it's time to geek out. Let it begin. Go on, stream and shout. It's Jesse and Dodger, so give them a follow and see what the Geekenders are all about. Yo, it's the weekend. Yeah, it's time to geek out. Let it begin. Go on, stream and shout. It's Jesse and Dodger, so give them a follow. #1 geek podcast, without a doubt. Yo, another end of another long week. Got a job and a kid, I know that you all beat. So take a second, grab a drink and vibe while we catch you up in just a matter of time. On gaming, comics, whatever you're doing. If you're nerdy like us, then you know you should tune in. Thank you for sharing our world with us. Now follow, subscribe, and turn this up. Yo, it's the weekend. Yeah, it's time to geek out. Let it begin. Go on, scream and shout. It's Jesse and Dodger, so give them a follow. #1 geek podcast, without a doubt.
Everybody, and welcome to Geekenders. It is December the 26th, the day after Christmas.
Hello.
And we're firing on all cylinders.
All one cylinder.
They're all going. Together we have
chugging up that
exactly
hill.
one cylinder. We're chugging up that hill.
I want to let everyone must know the behind the scenes of what just happened. Dodger, while the intro was running, Dodger told me a joke that was, and I must stress, terrible, and then paused because I just stared blankly at her, and then goes, "Our intro is too long."
Like, surely this has been enough of an awkward pause that surely the intro.
I wanted you to live in the awkward. I wanted you to just embrace how awkward the moment was.
Oh, it was beautiful, beautifully awkward. So when we started the show to do pre-show and setup and all of that today, it was expressed to us that maybe we said last week that was going to be the last show of the year.
Maybe we did say that, yeah.
But I jump scared Jesse yesterday with a heartfelt message at like 1 a.m.
It really was. I look at my phone and I see a full-on voice memo from Dodger, and I'm like, what's this about? And I start listening to it, and it's like, "Hey, bud, just wanted to wish you a Merry Christmas." It was very sweet. Very sweet. Like one of the sweetest messages you could receive. And then at the end it says, "Can't wait to see you tomorrow." And I was like, "What? What do you mean? What? I thought we were done for the year. What do you mean?"
It's like, back, "Are we doing a show tomorrow?" I was like, "Oh, we don't have to."
No, we're doing one. If you're here, I didn't think you'd be here. So I went ahead and had a full-on interview with one of the main leads over at Dispatch, thinking, well, we're not going to have an episode today. I'll just upload this interview. That's super fun. So now it's being tacked on to the end of this episode.
It doesn't have to
be. So you not only get us.
You could have a stocked up thing.
No. It's included now. I promised it last week. We can't keep making promises. My whole life is saying, I'll stream that tomorrow, and then getting caught up and stuff. And then the internet's like, "Jesse, where were you? You weren't streaming."
Jesse.
I was like, I had things I had to do. And they're like, "No, you're a liar. I can't lie anymore, Dukes. Not for you."
It wasn't a lie, though, because at the time that you said it, it was the truth.
Are you running for president? What the hell are you talking about?
Right? You can't.
Well, at the time I said it was the truth.
At the time you said it, you believed it to be true.
The situation on the ground has certainly changed, but you can't hold that against me. At the time when I said it, it was the truth.
It was. If anything, I'm your publicity rep, and you're running for president.
I am gonna have to fire you. You are sinking this ship.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. It was a very fun interview, and it starts with, my co-host couldn't be here because she's with her family today. So that'll be fun. I'm gonna include that bit. It's being included.
Yeah, you should.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's happening.
And then have a picture that pops up for like a split second of me, like, you know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Nope.
Hey, buddy, how was your holiday?
Lovely. It was a lovely time. Got to spend it with my parents, as one does. I wish I had the foresight to bring it today, although I don't think it would be very smart of me. My parents, as you know, love to get me useless gifts. Gifts that I'll never, like, I never would buy for myself.
Yeah.
Yes, because the things I love, I already will just buy. And they know I'm not a big fan of stuff.
Sam is also like that. If he wants something, he just gets it. It does make it very difficult to get gifts for people that are privileged enough to be able to just grab whatever they need when they need it. So
100%. And that's why, and I think there's a subconscious nature of, it's part of why I don't like getting gifts. Even lovely messages from your friend at 1 a.m. saying Merry Christmas.
You didn't like
I'm like,
that was from the heart.
It was from the heart. I could tell, which is why I was even more awkward about it. I was like, oh no, she means this. Oh, right?
Okay,
like
wait, pause on the holiday conversation. I want to say like a year ago, maybe, you unprompted sent me a very heartfelt message that I found out later was live on stream. So
yeah,
so we've done this to each other now.
Right.
Mine,
were you on stream when you said that to me?
Mine was not part of content. No,
yours was.
I was sitting
yours
there.
Was genuinely sweet.
Yeah.
And caring. Like, hey man, Merry Christmas. Yeah, mine was a goof, and that's the difference. I would only send it as a goof because I already am awkward enough as it is when it comes to emotions. So I don't want to deal with that. So yeah, I'm like, gifts. Ugh. So thankfully my parents have found a workaround, which is buy Jesse the stupidest stuff imaginable. And he can't complain about it being a gift because it's so stupid.
Because
we'll all
it's
play
too
with
dumb. It's too dumb to have an opinion about it. Yeah.
And so the thing they got me was literally it's a UFO where if you throw it in the air, it starts hovering around by itself and moving. That thing is a monster. The minute you say, go free, my UFO, this thing goes, starts flying into walls, into people, into everything. It is, and it will hover over stuff. It's great. So needless to say, I have plenty of videos on my phone of my dad discovering this thing and following it around the apartment. It's like, and my dad's like, look at this thing. Oh, he's very impressed by it. And he's like, if I would have had that as a kid, I'm like, okay, Dad.
Cute.
He loved it. So, yeah, that kind of stuff. That's what I did. Hung out. My parents wanted to watch.
Get for your parents?
This year they wanted bath soap. So I bought them way too hand soap. So I bought them way too much of that. My mom wanted her nails done and her hair done, so I got her that. And my dad, practical. I got him $200 in In-N-Out burger. And a gift card.
Like a gift card? Amazing. Yes, I love that.
Because that's,
he's like, you know what, I love In-N-Out.
Yeah. My dad likes In-N-Out. I got him that. My mom wanted her hair done and got her that. And then they both said they wanted soaps. So I bought them, instead of 1 or 2 things, I got them 5. And I was like, here you go. You'll never have to worry about soap again. And then I got Legos for all of us. And yesterday we put Legos together.
Cute. I love that.
It was cute.
I made my mom do Lego with me last time that I went to visit her because my kid has gotten really into Lego. So I was like, oh, this would be really fun. And it's very fascinating watching an adult who has never done Lego before try to understand like how the instructions work and how the pieces go together and stuff.
Yes.
Like in a cool way, in like a really interesting way. Like she loves puzzles. And I was like, this would be great because it's like putting a thing together and she doesn't have opportunities to do anything like that ever. So I was like, oh, let's do, we'll get the flower ones. We'll get
That's
little
what
flowers.
we did. We did the flower ones because I figured flower, my mom would love this. We put together a whole bouquet. It was great.
Yeah. And she made the whole thing. And at the end was like, that was really difficult. But she was really proud of herself because it was like a new thing to do. So yeah, if you have a parent that you think might enjoy Lego, even if they've never done it before. My mom is old. Sorry if you watch this, mommy. My mom's old and she crushed it. So
yeah. My mom enjoyed tremendously. She was at one point like, my fingers, I can't do this. I was like, okay. So I would do the little tiny bits.
Yeah, Clark would help with itty bitty bits for her.
Some of the flower things are very, like the actual like flower itself are very intricate, some of them. And so you have to like, with that said, there were some that I messed up. There's one flower I messed up on because I put the petals on backwards. And I was like, why isn't it working? Oh, because there's an upside and a downside. So,
right.
You know, but with that said, had a blast. It was great. Yeah. Makes me want to do more of those. I was like, Legos rule. They always have, always will. Doesn't matter how old you are. Legos are great.
Yeah. Well, as you know, we have a child, so
I heard that. Someone told me.
I built one of those, and
wow.
and
out of Legos,
and now she's a real boy, and it's great.
You put a scarf around her, and then.
So this is the first year that the gift from Santa has not been as well received as the gift from me and Sam.
Oh,
I know, because
Santa's on his way out.
My kid does this. She doesn't mean for it to be sneaky. She does this thing that makes everything so much harder, which is she doesn't write the letter to Santa. The letter to Santa has one thing on it, and she doesn't write it until the night before. She writes it Christmas Eve.
Have you explained that's not how the mail service works?
Because no, I blame Christmas movies because she's like, Santa's magic. And so when he shows up, he reads it and he just pulls out of his sack the thing that you wanted.
What's Santa?
There are a bunch of Santa movies
consuming?
There's a bunch of Santa movies where that's the case, where he's like, I think I know what these kids need. And he pulls the exact thing.
Trash films.
Anyways.
Those are trash films. They're setting this kid up for failure. Everyone knows the elves working in the sweatshop in the North Pole have to tinker it together. Everyone knows this.
But in her mind, she's like, no, the elves make everything that any kid could possibly want. And then when he gets there, the thing that they want is the thing he pulls out of his sack through magic. Anyways, so I had said to her, but honey, what if we get you the thing that you've talked about wanting and then you have two of it? Or, and she was like, well, because the only thing that I ask for is a really expensive thing so that I know you and daddy would never get it. Only Santa would be able to afford it. Okay.
What? She has
like a skewed perception of how much things cost, right?
Sure. No, of course.
So the thing that she asked for from Santa was a 3D pen.
Okay.
So she got the 3D pen from Santa. However, Sam and I got her a skateboard. Girl, when I tell you, this kid is obsessed with the skateboard and can't stop saying how awesome the skateboard is and how happy she is. She cannot stop thanking us for it. I'm like, let's go. She was like, this is the best Christmas ever. Love it.
I'm really curious. I don't know. So I don't know if you're in the weeds on Santa Claus, but how much does a 3D pen cost? This is one that prints 3D as you draw with it, right?
Yes. Yeah. So there's a wide range. We got her one that is specifically geared towards like younger, like kids older than her technically. But I was like, she's
like sub $100. Is that kind of the vibe?
Oh yeah. This was like a $30 3D pen.
I guess I'm trying to figure out what a child in the year 2025, almost 2026, thinks expensive is. you know?
Oh.
Because I imagine we have a different vibe on expensive compared to a kid now, much like how our parents have a different vibe on what expensive is compared to what we think expensive is.
I don't remember how I felt about this when I was her age, but I think there is an age where suddenly you sort of understand the weight of like $1 or £1, right? Like,
especially when you don't have one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's
like
how you can get a kid at like 10, here's $1, and they're like, oh, because they've never had anything. Right.
Yeah. So, like she, from her great grandma and great grandpa, she gets given 20 pounds for Christmas every year because they have no idea what the kids want. So they're like, just take money, whatever you want to get, go for it. Right.
Sure.
So yeah, it's not like she hasn't experienced like having money and spending it, but, her perception of like what is expensive, 100 is definitely very expensive to her.
Oh, sure.
You know, but like I would say like 40 is when something in her mind is like, that's so expensive.
So what you're telling me is, at least when it comes to kids, the relative perception of money is roughly the same as when we were kids. If you don't have money, everything's expensive compared to, because I keep thinking like, you know, when you look at like you drive by McDonald's here in LA and it's like, get a Big Mac meal for like $17 and you're like, brother, what? Why? And I keep thinking about all these ads and things you see where everything just seems absurdly expensive.
Well,
and I'm like, is that a normalcy to a kid?
Yeah.
I'm like, does a kid see that and think, oh, well then, you know, instead of $40 being expensive, like 120, man. Like
I do think it also depends.
That at least in the world of kids, it's the same.
I do think it also depends on how you as the adult interact with your kid about things, right?
Sure.
I pretty openly will discuss with like if my kid sees something at the grocery store and is like, oh my gosh, I want that so bad. I'll pretty openly be like, I got to be honest, that thing for this amount, I don't think it's worth that. You know? So I think she's starting to understand like, is a plushie worth $15? Not to me, right? Like a plushie from the grocery store, I'm not going to spend $15 for that, you know? So.
Yo, I love the idea of like her favorite stuffed toy was from the grocery store. We went looking for tomatoes and came back with a plushie. Yeah.
Bro, this kid loves stuffies so much. So much. And we've gotten to the point now where I'm like, she asks for them all the time and I'll go, you can have one if you get rid of a few, right? If we donate a few.
That's not the point. Where else is she going to hide E.T. when E.T. lands? There's got to be a wall of plush figures so E.T. can hide in there from the FBI.
Believe me, she could get rid of like 10 and still have a wall. It would be fine. There's so many in there, man.
There is more than enough room for any extraterrestrials who may, in fact, be needing
aliens
to hide.
Would have no problem hiding in that bedroom. It's fine.
Gotcha.
Guys.
Okay. Yeah, but that's part of it, because then she can jump on them, like, yeah, and like land, and then, you know. But then I forgot what being a kid's like, man.
Yeah. The other thing is, a while back, we got her like a kind of janky CD player. Because she kept complaining that if we have no internet, we can't listen to music. And I was like, that's so valid. We should just buy some CDs from the charity shop and get a little CD player.
What do you mean if you have no internet, you can't listen to music?
Like,
does the internet go out often?
If we're out of the house and we have no internet, like in the car, she wants to listen to music in the car, but we have no internet, right?
Okay.
Or like data or whatever.
Sure.
And I was like, okay, let's get some CDs. The CD player broke, so I got her like an old school style like Walkman, and she loves that thing.
Like a Discman, like a back in the day Discman,
like a
hell yeah,
walk around.
Okay, yeah.
She loves it. And I made the mistake of being like, you know what's funny is when I was a kid, we used to just like download things and then burn them onto blank CDs, so you could just make a CD with whatever you want on it.
Oh no.
And my kid loves audiobooks. And she was like, could we put the audiobooks that I really like on CD. And here's the problem. Now I'm having to look into like, how do I rip my audiobooks from Audible onto my computer to then burn them on CD? There are lots of ways to do it. It turns out.
I need you to understand this.
Yeah.
When Clark is in prison for having stolen books on tape, and you go to visit Clark, and Clark's like, Mom, they're not gonna let me out. And you'll be like, Clark, who taught you to steal like this? She's gonna look at you and be like, I learned it from you.
Okay, but to be fair, not to. I bought those books.
Yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
I did buy them. I bought those books.
Sure.
Why can't I put them on a CD? I bought those books.
Did you, man?
Yeah.
Did you? Or are you just renting them from Amazon?
I bought those books. Is there a service? Look, tell me if there is. Is there a service to buy audiobooks on where you just download the file? Or do they all live on a client now? If they all live on a client, then...
Well, you know what's interesting? Have you been to... this is such a weird question. Have you been to a library lately?
I have.
The way they do books on tape at the library is fascinating. It's not a CD anymore. It's like its own little thing.
Yeah.
And then you can just listen to it on the thing. And I'm like, oh, is that so people can't just keep stealing the books? Or scratch up the CDs? Their own little things. I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting. But I love that. I love you get like a little box of audio.
Cute.
Here, have a box of audio.
Have a box of audio. You're welcome.
A box of audio. Yeah, I like that. I think that's a fun way to do it. But yeah, I'm absolutely thrilled that of all the things you've chosen to steal for your child, it's books.
Yeah.
No court would convict. Yeah, no court would convict. That's the real crimes. Honestly, I feel like we should get involved in like a crime ring, but we only steal like textbooks and informational brochures. People are like, what are we gonna do? Arrest them for getting knowledge?
Yeah. It's a media literacy crisis out here, guys. And if my kid wants to listen to Kid Normal volumes 1 through 5, she will.
Bookleggers. It's good. That's good.
Should be a thing. Bookleggers? That's so good. Mm-hmm. It sounds like it's supposed to be some sort of slur. I'm not sure what.
It does sound like a slur, but I think that's also, I mean, like bootlegger wasn't like it's not like the greatest thing to be called.
Sure.
There's a little bit of like, it's bootleg, dude. So, but with that said, books to the masses, free the books, baby. Let's go. I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, do you do like are you doing trees? Did you do dinner? What was the vibe?
For
did you all just
Krampus?
the clan get together? Yeah.
Yeah. It's always crazy. We were joking. You know that episode of The Bear? You've watched The Bear?
Mm-hmm.
You know that episode of The Bear where it's a flashback to Christmas? Like a crazy Christmas.
Okay.
I'm not about to say that the Christmas with the Thorns is anything like that.
All right, I was about to be like, what are you about to tell me?
But
all right.
At breakfast, so we always on Christmas Day we all have breakfast together, and they were implying that it kind of used to be like that when we were kids, because my mother-in-law would be so fed up with her 5 feral children that she would just lock herself in the kitchen and drink and cook. And the kids would just go crazy and fight and like what, and she was like, I don't care, I'm not involved, I'm cooking, I'm busy. And I was like, I kind of love that. Anyways, we've moved on to potlucking. We potluck Christmas. So each family is assigned things. At this point, we've done it 3 years in a row, I think. So everybody kind of does the same stuff each year generally. Okay. So I do sprouts because nobody wants them and I love them. So I was
Great.
like,
So, solid for you. Yeah.
I'm bringing sprouts. Yeah, I do sprouts.
Hold on. How you sprouting?
I get fresh ones and I cut them in half and then I roast them with salt and oil. I don't do anything fancy with them.
I was hoping there'd be bacon in there. Anyway.
Bacon and balsamic glaze.
Oh my God. Sign me up.
God. And then Clark does the cranberry sauce.
Cute.
And then I do Yorkshire puddings. And the first...
You have the time and patience for the Yorkshire?
Everybody makes it sound like they're so hard, but they're honestly fine. I think the hardest part is letting the oil heat up. Because the actual batter is literally like flour, milk, eggs, salt, and that's it. And it's like super liquidy. And you take a muffin tin and you put like a tablespoon of oil in each of the sections.
Then you pour in the stuff.
No, not yet.
Oh, shit. Okay.
And while the oil's in the pan, you put the pan in the oven and you let it sit in there for like 15 minutes. You want the oil to basically start cooking the batter the second the batter's in it. So you take it out and you frantically go, "Ah!" and you pour all the batter in and then you toss it back in the oven and you leave it in there for 20 minutes.
Okay. But you're not one of those like oven checkers where you open it and then it deflates. You're good.
I leave it alone.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Look at you. All right. What the hell happened? You making puddings now?
I make puddings now.
You making puddings?
Sam's auntie, I guess my auntie-in-law, said that they're the best Yorkshire puddings she's ever had. And I was like, don't fucking lie to me. And she was like, I'm not lying. They're really good. So I was riding that high for the rest of the day.
Are you? All right. Are you going to be the person who has to bring the Yorkshire puddings all the time from now on? Have you ever experienced that?
I only make them for Christmas. I make them once a year.
Interesting.
I've never been asked to make them any other time.
In college, the group of like theater nerds that I hung out with, we would always have like a Friendsgiving thing. This one guy, Nick, was like the first year we had it of all sweet 4 years of our college life. The first year that we had it, he brought a like the best mac and cheese. I don't think it was like more than macaroni and cheese. I don't know what it was like the best thing you've ever had.
Okay.
So every year after that, they kept being like, "You're bringing the mac and cheese, right?" And I don't know that he wanted to, but he's like, "Yeah, all right." And so he'd have to make it. I think the first year he did it because he was trying to impress, especially because I remember him having a crush on this girl who was like out of everyone's league, but he's like going for it. And I was like, "My man, do your thing."
The way to the heart is the stomach, they say.
Look, you don't have to convince me. And so he brought it the first year, and I think because of that, they just assumed this was the thing he could just whip up. I feel like he spent a ton of money on it and time because he was like,
so then every year he was like,
yeah, I guess. He's like, I guess I could. So next year he brings it. Everyone's like, oh, it's a hit. Everyone's eating it. It's gone immediately. So the third year, of course, he has to bring it. But by this point, I'm his roommate. So now I see the behind the scenes stuff. Right. And I'm like, buddy, he's stressing. He's freaking out. I'm like, my man, you don't need to do it. He's like, I do need to do it. I was like, no, you don't. He's like, yeah, everyone's expecting it. What if I bring something else? They're gonna be so upset with me. And I kept trying to get like, no, it's fine. I bet if you bring anything, it'll be good. So third year, he brings mac and cheese. And then this like salad dish that he made. It wasn't like a potato salad, but it was kind of like, in that genre of salad. Nobody touched that salad. And everyone ate the mac and cheese. And he told me afterwards, he's like, I told you no one would care or no one wanted anything else. And I was like, but you tried and that's what counts. And he's like, no, I wasted money and that's what counts. And I was like, all right, man. He's like, this is New York, dude. Things are expensive. And I'm like, okay. So then the last year, my man rolls in with more mac and cheese than I've ever, like 3 trays of it. And he's like, this is the last year I'm making this for the rest of my life.
I'm going out with a bang. Eat your
He's
fill,
like, I'm never doing
assholes.
this again. He's like, if after college we hang out at any capacity, no, this will never happen again. And we were like, yes, sir. All right. So that's why I think about that often, is the person who like shows up at a thing, nails it, and then everyone expects, oh, that's their thing. Like the casserole or the pie or the whatever. It always seems dangerous to me. With that said, I'd rather be the one responsible for that than the person who rolls in and says, yeah, I made this, and they just went to like Costco and bought it. Because then you're screwed. If Costco never sells that again, you're done.
That's
you're
so
done.
true. And Costco does a lot of things right. So if you rock up with a Costco thing and everyone eats it and is like, that's pretty tight, and then next year they're not making it anymore, you're like, fuck, what do I do?
Yeah. The only problem with Costco is it's all such big portions. I will look at stuff and be like, oh, man, I can just take this thing home and make a bunch of fajitas. That sounds delicious. And it's like serves 12. And I'm like, all right, well, that's probably not going to be the thing I take.
Gotta
but
make
like the dream
freezer.
is there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would love to. The only issue is I'm not like I need my vegetables crunchy as hell. Like I don't like floppy vegetables. Not a fan.
You.
I don't like old veg. I need my veg like, if you're going to stick it in heat,
blanched,
get it in there, blast it, and then get it out. I need that thing crunchy.
Yeah.
So,
I feel you.
So when they have like, fajita tray, I'm like, all right, it's already cut up. So that thing's going to last 3 days tops. I don't want to freeze it. And then I'm like, So
yeah,
that's my own personal hell of my own making.
The only like equivalent thing that I can think of with the like bring this every time thing is I think about this sometimes playing D&D now. When I first started playing D&D like in earnest in college, it was like everyone would come over first thing in the morning and we'd all still be playing when it was nighttime. Like it was an all day thing. And I think about that because that poor DM, like we play at max like 4-hour games now. And I can't imagine playing longer than that anymore. But anyways, I started making chili every time we would play. And it turned into like people would just show up assuming that there would be lunch
chili
because I was going to make chili. Yeah. So I felt it wasn't like, hey, you're making chili, right? It was just like, I should make chili so that people aren't starving,
Yeah. Yeah. I thankfully have never hit that point. I'm always the drink guy. I will always have drinks in my fridge, as it is known. I have so many drinks in my fridge.
There is video footage, yeah.
Yes. I'd love to just be like, well, there's stuff. If anyone comes over, they will never not have something to drink that they can enjoy. Right. And I'll just keep it stocked. But other than that, you're on your own. If you come over to my house looking for food, you better bring your own. I'm not what I got for you. Although now I have like little, stuff my parents gave me for Christmas. So that's there.
Yeah.
We got my mom gave me a box of nuts and a box of gummies. That's the Christmas I'm here for. Yeah. That's my Christmas.
Perfect.
Yeah. Good stuff. Well, that's fun. I'm glad you had a good time with the family.
Did. But, the second everybody's fed and the kids are like outside almost killing themselves, it's like, it's almost done. Almost made it. It's almost over, That was a nice time,
when do they all go back to school in January?
Yeah.
Are the breaks there like long or is it
more frequent? So, they have a break. So imagine like a semester.
Okay.
So in the semester, there is a mid-semester break that is 1 to 2 weeks, and then a like between semester break that is.
So they get like legit time off.
They get a lot of breaks, and it's awesome, I think.
Is it weird that when I was in school, we were all sold the fact that Americans got a lot of time off and European kids were always in school?
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
So,
and it was like, European kids are always in school. And it's like, I don't know that that's true. I feel like we were sold a bill of goods.
I think that's true. I think for some reason, American kids, at least our generation, was under the impression that in most places in the world, it was like year-round school. And we were like, we're
year
so
round,
lucky. We
kids
get
were in
summers.
school on Saturdays. Yes. Kids were always in school overseas. Like, you're lucky you get a whole summer off. Yeah. And now I'm like, I feel like we were scammed.
Yeah. Their school year is longer, but they have a ton of breaks and decently long breaks. And I think it's so helpful with the burnout, because we'll joke like school starts and then a couple weeks go by and they're like, all right, so for half term. And we're like, Jesus Christ, half term already? But like, so rarely is my kid like just deflated, from too much school.
It's one of those things where I think as a teacher, the biggest takeaway I had was summer break's great for everyone, even the teachers. It's nice to get away. With that said, students lose so much of their retained knowledge over the course of 3 months. The amount of like time you have to spend in August or September or whenever you come back going over the stuff that they just like, all right, so what do you remember from the before times when you were in a grade lower, and you have to figure it out. And it's such a waste of time. If it was like, we go to a thing and then you get 2 weeks off and then you come back, there's still the recharge there. Sure, none of that would ever change. America's too ingrained in the idea of like, you get a summer off. That's never going to stop. But man, it is, it's like, no, what do you mean? You don't know? Yeah. What did you do last year?
When she started in reception is like the equivalent of kindergarten. So when she started in reception and had her first break, all of the teachers tried to like during parent teacher talks be like, just so you know, things like maths and any progress we've made on learning how to read, like that sort of stuff. If you can, it would be so helpful if you can go over stuff before they come back. Yeah, so over the summer, I try to make sure that Clark is still reading consistently, because I guess reading is the thing that backslides a lot over breaks. But
well, all right, look. Here is my here's why we actually need summer. Now that I think about it, I realize we need summer in America. I don't know about the rest of the world, but we need summer here.
The floor is yours. Go for it.
Only during a summer where you don't see any of the other kids from your high school except for your friends. When you return, the reinventing is my favorite part. Every time kids come back to school after a summer, especially as a teacher, because you get to like outside view it and like look at it happen rather than be in it. When people come back and they're like a different person, and the summer they had a wild summer and it changed their life. That shit is hilarious and will never not be funny, and I love it. New hair, new look, new attitude.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You come back in, it's like, I'm a different person than I was before.
Yeah.
Right? And that's how you get people who were named Lauren and now say their name is Lauren. And that's how you get that. And I love that for everyone. Frankly, it's great.
Kids have to do some like cringy and not so cringy reinventing to like explore shit. It's fun. And you're right. Having a big chunk of time, they're like, I can do this safely now. I can make a big shift now. Yeah.
I think that's like, it's a solid excuse to kind of like, it isn't just about taking time off school. It's about taking time for yourself during the summer to like rediscover who you are as a kid. And it always, the older they get, the more dramatic it is. And it's always fun. And frankly, it was great watching when I was a teacher. Not so great as a kid being in it, because it was like, oh boy, I sure hope Jenny from homeroom thinks I'm cute this year.
Yeah, because everybody's cripplingly insecure. Even the people when you're like, they're so cool and confident, they're insecure too. Everybody is. Yeah.
That's why they're doing it. That's why they would take a whole summer to reinvent themselves. Yeah. No one who's cool and confident takes a summer to be like, I'm going to dye my hair, wear all black. I'm going to like get a chain for some reason. And I'm going to talk with an accent now. Like that's not a normal thing that you do if you're cool and confident. But man, is it great when it happens.
I was about to say I had a friend, but we weren't ever really. There was a guy that I went to high school with who tried to come back from summer break. Like I was in France, and so I've developed an accent from being in France for a month.
Yeah, that's we had a teacher like that who went to India
work, guys.
for the summer.
Don't do that one. Please don't do that one. It doesn't work.
We had a teacher who went to India for the summer, and she came back and she was like, "My life has changed. I'm a different." And I was like, "Oh,
a teacher?
In what way?" Yeah, she's like, "My life has changed," and she literally just started dressing like she lived in India, and I was like, "What is going on here?" And she's like, "I've just taken on a new life." Like, I've never seen anyone. It would be like if I went to Italy and came back and was like, "I only like a spaghetti." It's so, like what the fuck? What do you mean? If I started dressing like like Brad Pitt when he does an Ocean's 11 movie, if I started doing that and came back and be like, it's that kind of thing. One of the I traveled and now I've embraced their culture. It's part of me. And I'm like, that's cool, but this seems performative. But like, all right, do what you do. Yeah. And I'm fine. I love that stuff. I'm a big fan of people being like, I reinvented myself during the summer. It's like, hell yeah, you did. That's great. Me, my summer vacations, especially my last year of teaching, was mostly making YouTube videos. That was my first 2010 baby. I was like, I'm gonna make YouTube. Like I didn't do anything cool. Yeah. Year before that, played WoW all summer long. It was good stuff.
Yeah. The summer before I fully swapped over to YouTube, I was taking my last classes that I needed to get my degree because I kept putting off math. And they're like, you have to do a math class so that you can graduate. Sure. So I finally did my math class over the summer and worked on a nearby farm, an alpaca farm, and all the alpacas were mean to me. And did YouTube. And started a YouTube channel.
Somehow when I think of you, I associate the Northwest. So I'm thinking Seattle, Portland. I forget that you were neither of those. You were
not in the city.
In the woods.
Yeah.
And so you had farms to go hang out on. Right. No, I just keep, you're like, yeah, I was trying to finish my classes. Also alpacas. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I started working for this lady. She constantly had farmhands coming on, but she would fire them really quickly. I stuck around a lot longer. But I was so much smaller. I think most people, when they interact with alpacas, are like, they're so sweet. But when you're smaller than them, they bully you a little bit. I was just too short. So I would go in there and I would have to do stuff with them or hold them for shearing. Jesus Christ. And they were like, who's this fucking pipsqueak? It didn't work. Didn't work, guys.
I don't know that I've ever heard, as long as I've been alive, anyone say, if you're smaller than an alpaca, they'll bully you.
They do.
I don't think I've ever. That sentence has never been formed before and on all of Earth, I think. I think you're the first person ever to say that complete sentence.
There's no way. They bully you, man. Because they're used to being tiny.
All I can think about now is when we were at that convention and that dude was like, have you seen Dodger? And you were standing right there.
That's one of my favorite. I think about that often because it was so funny. Brief recap. One time, Jesse and I were at a convention, and a guy came over and he talked to Jesse for a really long time and then was like, hey, man, by the way, if you see Dodger anywhere, tell her I say hi. And instead of being like, she's literally right there, he goes, yeah, I will. Let them just walk away.
You were standing right there.
Standing right next to him.
How did he not know? Smaller than an alpaca, I guess, is what I've learned. It's
because I'm smaller than an alpaca. Anything smaller than an alpaca is hard to see. Very bullyable.
You were right there. Admittedly, he was a very taller than an alpaca, so he probably
was
didn't see
taller than an alpaca. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to that guy. If you watch this podcast, I'm so sorry, but it has become a really funny bit that we think about.
We love you, yeah. Without you, that bit would not have happened, and frankly, it's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, can I tell you about, I didn't play any new video games because the holidays, but
sure.
I have played a couple of like board games, like small board games.
Ooh, okay. With the family? You've been doing like a
family.
Wait, whoa. Before you jump into what you did with your little family and what
Yes.
What was Sam posting? The photo Sam was posting, it looked like you went to like a castle, like an ancient like you went to like an old-timey village for Christmas. What were those photos?
We went to Warwick Castle.
What is that?
Is
it a castle? Or is it like a is it just a place you can stay at, or is it like a fun time cool kid?
Yeah, okay. So it's a real ass castle. It's awesome. When any of you who remember the game King of the Castle, which is still very fun, when they were doing their release party, it was in England, and they invited creators out to Warwick Castle to like celebrate the release of the game. And I was like, this is so cool. And on the grounds, they have what's called the Knights Village, which is basically like a collection of little cottages. And you can stay in a cottage. They are expensive, but you can stay in a cottage on the castle grounds. And then staying there comes with day passes. So then like you can go into the castle and walk the grounds. Around Christmas time, they have a huge light trail, which is basically just like a long walk that has a bunch of different like light displays and ice skating. So one of Clark's best friends, her mom had messaged me and was like, hey, I think we've got a couple more years of like Christmas magic left in us. Let's try to do something fun and we can split the cost. And I was like, okay, sure. So we split the cost for our two families. We split the cost on a bigger cottage in the Knights Village and stayed there overnight and did the ice skating and did the light trail and saw a pantomime where one of the archetypes in a pantomime is the dame. And at a certain point, the dame pointed at Sam and went, come on, Jason Momoa, you got this. And the embarrassment that hit him so fast was amazing. I was like, you got Jason Momoa in the wild. In front of a bunch of people. It was awesome. Anyways, yeah, it's beautiful. It was very, very fun. The inside of the castle is so cool. You can climb the ramparts. The ramparts are in 3 stages. So you go up this spiral staircase to like the first stage of the ramparts, and then you can climb a bit higher. And then if you want to get all the way to the top, you can go up the longest flight of stairs I've ever gone up in my life. You've done Machu Picchu, so it would probably be easy peasy for you. But I was like, Jesus,
don't say that.
My legs are gonna die.
Sure.
You can go all the way to the top of the ramparts, and there's a beautiful view of like the whole area and beyond, like just a gorgeous view of all of the surroundings. Yeah, I would recommend it.
Is it like, did the kids enjoy? Because I'm really curious what kids think of a castle. Besides, like, are they into it? Like, castles are awesome, or is there a point where it's like, okay, now we're bored?
I think at this age, I think like the 7, 8, 9-year-old age, they can appreciate, you know, like all the cool paintings and the armor and like, you know, seeing the architecture and stuff. I think they can appreciate that more because we did take Clark to a couple like manor houses when she was littler, and you know, she was like, sure is pretty. Anyway, next room, you know, like didn't want to like really look at anything. But no, I think light trails are the shit. They're great. Sure. Around Christmas time, light trails for kids, awesome. They love that shit. And climbing the ramparts, they really loved that. So I will say my one con, if you're like, I want to stay in the Knights Village and I'm gonna eat at the restaurant that's in the Knights Village, I would say maybe eat somewhere else.
Oh, the restaurant in the Knights Village at the castle isn't like good?
No.
Crazy.
No, it's not great. No, I would say find somewhere like in Warwick to eat. Warwick. Find somewhere in Warwick to eat that isn't at the Knights Village, because it's like a buffet and the food was just whatever. The breakfast buffet was fine, but like dinner was just whatever. I think you can find a better place to eat like in the actual town and then just come back, you know.
Sure.
Yeah. But yeah, it was very fun. So yes, we did. We went to a castle.
Okay. Sorry to derail you from the board games. I just
okay.
needed to know because it looked like you went to like what would be the equivalent here in America of like going to Colonial Williamsburg. I was like, where the hell did they go? I was looking at the village and was like, there's like, you know, men at arms and stuff. I was like, what is this?
Yeah. The other mom was asking because during the summer they do like, not reenactments, but they'll do like, they have people dress up as knights and do like fights on the on the grounds, and then like kids can watch the fights and stuff. And she was asking me if like reenactments in America are real, like if we really do that. And I was like, yeah, but so do you guys? Like I literally know the person in this county that heads up the reenactment group around here. Like you guys also do reenactments. Maybe it's just niche.
I guess they see it as like the way we do reenactments is like a whole different thing because I think it's more modern. Like the idea of dressing up as a knight, I think might be different emotionally than dressing up as like a Civil War. So like time wise, it's a lot closer. I don't know though. I will say, speaking of knights,
yes,
shout out to good old Brennan's here in Los Angeles, California.
Brennan's,
home of the turtle races, as everyone knows.
Oh God, yeah.
Is this bar that's near kind of the airport, but also
are they
a bunch
less
of colleges.
sexual now?
No, it's great. So
okay, it's still okay.
At Brennan's, they have every so often now night fights. So on a Saturday, they'll have they have like a backyard area of this bar, and they set up this sort of like a wooden barricade, and then dudes in full armor battle for your entertainment while you drink. And I must stress, even though I'm getting on in age, going to that and hanging out with all the drunk college kids as they get really into night fights, I'm like, kids are all right. This is pretty great.
That sounds fun. Night fight sounds
very fun.
The turtle racing was weird because like not a lot is happening, and occasionally like a lady wearing very little clothing would come out and like bend over in slow motion and then pick up a turtle, and like that was basically That was basically what was happening.
I think that has changed.
Is it still really sexual?
No, I was there for turtle races one night on accident. And for people who are curious, it's not they race around a track. So literally there's a grid and they start in the middle, and the first one to reach the outside wins. And so people are betting on them, doing all sorts of stuff. It's and then they have like a whole little turtle sanctuary in there now. No sexy ladies. Although,
no sexy ladies anymore. 10 years does something to the brand, man.
Yeah. I would prefer that, but it was all turtles as far as I could tell. Yeah. But big fan of the night fights were super fun. They don't do them there that often, but like when they show up, I'm like, I got it. It's like during the day on a Saturday, I'm like, yo, let's go. This is great. I'm here for that. That's like that one time we went to the Hobbit pub, and in the back they had like a secret Jamaican jerk chicken place. Little things like that will sell me on going to you're drinking your watering hole. If you got something going on, I'm showing up. Yeah. Otherwise, I'm not going to go there just to drink. You got to sell me on just to drink is like, I'm spending too much money. Why would I do this? But you got knights dueling for my attention? Now I'm coming to spend cash.
Yeah, now I'm in.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, they have lumberjack things. They'll have days where they have, like, beer companies come out and, like, do a whole thing there. Oh, yeah, Brennan's is, like, the only thing that I'm going to hold against Brennan's is that they still have a giant mural in the back that says winter is coming with the Night King, and it's been how many years? I'm like, that shit sucks, dude. Why is that still up? It's been there for at least a decade.
Too long.
It's too, yeah.
Way
it is in
too
mint
long.
condition though. It's like no one would touch that thing. And that's very funny to me. I don't know why it's still there.
There's a mural painter. Sorry, God. There's a mural painter that I watch a lot of videos of, and he did a mural in like the area where Peaky Blinders is supposed to be taking place.
Sure.
He did a mural that was just of like all of the Peaky Blinders characters, and they looked amazing. But I was like, how long are they gonna want Cillian Murphy on the wall? I'm curious. Maybe it's different because it's like Peaky Blinders takes place here, but like I feel like that's, I don't know, how many years in the tank does that have?
I mean, new stuff is coming out right now. They literally, so you just reminded me, because this is, Dodger, I must stress to you, this is the single greatest text messages I've ever received in my life. So, for those who watch Scary Game Squad, you know that we love for a long time to be like, the Peaky fucking Blinders. Like, we do that frequently as a joke. Yeah. However, our dear sweet boy Davis still has never seen Peaky Blinders.
What? So, really? Oh,
yes. Now, I forgot.
There's a movie coming out. Does he know?
Yes, I forgot that. And in the Scary Game Squad chat, I messaged them, let's effing go! And I sent them the official teaser for the Peaky Blinders movie coming out. Yeah. Which, of course, is called Peaky Blinders, The Immortal Man. Davis responds verbatim. Sorry, Davis, I'm calling you out. This is so funny. I'm not going to watch the trailer because, like, someday I plan on watching the show, and I don't want to get spoiled, but is he supernatural? Like, is he actually immortal?
I love it. I love it. He knows nothing. He has no idea what's going on. I love it. I love it. I
wanted to explain to him that it was just a title.
Yes. Yes, he's immortal.
That is said with complete sincerity. He's like, is he immortal?
I love it. No, but like that tells you like he truly has not seen any of it. He has no idea what the media is. I love that.
And I want to explain it to him and be like, well, the reason why is because like as a character, he's and I want to do a whole thing, but I was also like, no, I'm going to let him live in this.
No. Let him sit there being like, guys, is he supernatural?
Is he
just change the subject.
I love that he's like, I don't want to watch this trailer because I haven't seen the show, but question, follow up. Is he supernatural? Does he have powers?
I love it. Maybe, you know,
that's
coming from Davis, I feel like that's kind of him like pulling at a straw that he knows would get him more interested in watching it, right? Like,
sure.
Like part of him is like, wait, I didn't know there were like superpowers in this show, right? Maybe I should watch it.
I love the idea is it's just Peaky Blinders, but one character has like Twilight-esque powers. One character is just like a really hot vampire for no reason.
Just immortal, yeah.
That'd be amazing. Nothing changes. Nothing changes. Except like one character is an immortal like Highlander. And everything else is the exact same.
And it can't be Cillian Murphy. That's somebody else.
No.
Somebody who's barely
like his brother or something.
involved.
Yeah, like one of the less redeemable characters who are just a complete mess. And they're like, oh, I did it again. It's like, and he's immortal too. He never learns his lesson.
One day this life will end and I'll be free.
Oh, yeah.
I love that. Oh, I hope he watches it. It's such a good show.
I do too. It's a genuinely great show.
It's a genuinely good show.
Yeah. Yeah. Towards the end, I was upset. They were like, we're making a movie, but now that it's coming out, I'm fine. But by the end of the last season, I was like, this is one of those things that Netflix does where it's like, yeah, no, we're not going to actually end it. You might get a movie though. And I was like, we're never getting a movie. So now we're getting a movie.
Now there's a movie.
Very happy. So, all right, let's go.
Yeah. Yeah. If we need a movie to wrap it up, look, Downton Abbey did it and that's fine.
I'm fine. Look, as far as I'm aware, it's literally Cillian Murphy versus Nazis. So like, I'm down. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. Put on the hat. Go beat some dudes up. This will be fine.
Exactly.
Okay. Derailed. Board games. Please continue.
We're going to talk about board games. Yeah. So lately when Sam and the kiddo and I, when we want to go out to eat dinner, there was like a hot minute there where she just hated going to eat dinner anywhere. And so I was like, what if we bring a game? So we started playing a game while we're waiting for our food. If we're going to like a pub or something. Yeah. So she had asked for more like simple games that we could take with us to places. So I got 3. Well, I got Battleship. Battleship was
is
number
good.
4.
Classic.
But we know Battleship. It's a classic. It's interesting trying to teach a child how to play Battleship. But she's getting it. She's grasping it. But I got a couple that were highly recommended as good small games to take places. So one of them is called P for Pizza.
Okay. What is
P for Pizza? It's very simple. So you've got a stack of cards. On one side, the cards are triangle shaped. And on each side of the triangle is a different category. They are color coded, but they also have little initials to tell you in case like you're colorblind or something. But one of the categories is hard, one is medium, and one is easy. You are trying to create a pizza. You need 6 pieces to make your pizza. So on one side is the categories. On the other side, each side is a letter. So you flip. You might need to see a picture. I might not be able to. Oh,
so it's like horse, kind of, where you're spelling pizza as you make a pizza.
No. Nope, not at all.
I tried to decipher what you were saying.
Yeah, so triangle with categories on each side, and then triangle card here, here, and here. And whatever letter is touching the category triangle tells you what word you're looking at. So say that one of the categories is purple and the letter was E. Then you could say eggplant and take that card. And that's one of your 6 pieces of pizza that you need. So it's a word game. If you're a kid, yeah.
Can I just say really quickly? I was trying to like British my mind for a second. And when you said purple and E, in my head, as you're about to say eggplant, you went and split second. I was like, aubergine doesn't begin with an E.
Well done, though.
You meant eggplant. No, thank you. I just realized in that moment, I was like,
I was adjusting for you.
Right. No, but it's also, yeah. Okay.
Anyways. It's a you have 3 categories, you have 3 letters. See if you can come up with an answer to the category with those 3 letters. And if you can do it 6 times, then you've made a pizza. So it can go really fast or it can go really slow if you're really struggling with the categories. If you're a kid, you can make your pizza entirely out of easy slices. But if you're an adult, you have to have 3 easy, 2 medium, and 1 hard slice.
All right. Okay. So it's almost like what's that game called? Trivial Pursuit, but not. But almost.
Kind of.
Like you're not using a board. Yeah. But I'm putting a thing together with little factoids.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, you make a little pizza.
So a full-on educational game is what you're telling me.
It's a word game. It's a can you think of a word?
You've tricked your child into doing homework, and frankly, I am here for it.
It's fun. It is fun. And Sam kept casually coming by and taking slices, and that pissed me off because Clark and I would be staring at it for a really long time, and neither of us had an answer. And he'd swing by and be like, "Truck," and just like take a piece. It's like, go away. Anyways, P for Pizza, very fun. Very fun. As long as your kid can read, or the child in your life, if they can read, they can play it. And then the other one, I think it's called Tinder Blocks. Maybe I should double check. this is a game that comes in a box like this big.
Okay.
And you're building a fire. And there are tiny little pieces that represent the fire. So there's little blocks that are the wood. There's little yellow blocks and red blocks that are fire. And you have a deck of cards. And you turn over a card and it shows you pieces that you have to add onto the fire. And you're basically trying to build the fire as big as you possibly can without the fire falling over.
So like reverse Jenga.
Kind of. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just adding pieces on as they say. So like you might flip a card over and it shows a log piece, but this way. So you know that you have to add it onto the fire upright. And then there might be one that's like a log with a red and a yellow piece on top of it. And you're like, okay, so you have to assemble that and then put that full thing onto the fire.
Onto the fire. Right. And then so it's balancing plus doing whatever the card says.
Yes.
Cool.
My kid hated this game. She was like, this is so finicky. This is not fun. Because it comes with little tweezers. So you're supposed to like...
Yeah, no, man. I would be out too. The minute you get down to tweezers...
Yeah, so there's tweezers and some of the cards have a symbol on it that means swap hands. So like sometimes it tells you to add it with your non-dominant hand. And she was like, I'm not doing the tweezers. I was like, but honey, on the instructions it says use the tweezers so you don't burn your fingers. And she was like, I'm just touching the logs then. I was like, okay, fair enough. Yeah, it was too fiddly for her. She didn't like it.
Sure.
I enjoyed it, but
it seems like more of an adult game. The little minutia games are never good for kids. They're like, what? Yeah, that's like an adult. Like it's along the same lines as like I built a boat in a bottle. No kid's gonna want to do that. That's an adult hobby.
Yeah, and then the last one. Let me see if I can remember exactly what it's called. And by remember exactly what it's called, I mean scroll back to where it was. Okay, so it's called Untangle the Rope. This game has been the biggest hit.
Untangle the Rope? Is it just a rope?
So you've probably seen a mobile game that is this exact game. It's where there's like 10 different colored ropes that are all tangled up with their ends slotted into holes. And you one at a time move a rope until you can untangle them and take ropes away. Have you been given ads for mobile games like this? Because the second I saw this, I was
I'm trying to imagine if I have or not. Please continue.
Yeah, so it's basically like a circle with a bunch of holes in it, and you've got a bunch of little ropes, and you tangle them all up, and then you slot like the ends in the holes, and there will be 2 holes open so that you can move things around, right? And you one at a time take turns moving one rope to one of the free holes. And you're trying to, it's a little collaborative, but a little competitive because you together are trying to untangle the ropes from each other by doing one move at a time. But also you want to be the person who reveals a rope. Once a rope is completely open and not tangled anymore, you take it. So once you get to the point where like the next move will untangle one of the ropes, you have to gauge like, what do I do next to make sure that they don't get the rope and I do, right?
All I can think about is like the creator of this game sitting around with their family at Christmas, untangling lights. And someone was like, you should make this into a game, Dad. And them being like, wow, that's exactly what we should do. Take this chore and make it a game. So it's people fun, can do it all the time.
It's so fun. We've been playing it. My kid had like a full-on meltdown at Christmas over a little thing, but like Christmas is overstimulating, so whatever. I was like, let's go back to our house. Fortunately, we're able to do that. And just be like, let's leave grandma's and go to our house. It's literally next door. And she was like, can we play Untangle the Rope? And that was like her like just space out thing for a minute there. It was just untangling the ropes in this game. I was like, this thing is paying for itself like literally right now. Yeah, it's really fun. We have a house rule because one of the people playing is a child and doesn't have eternal patience. We have a house rule, which is if two pieces are next to each other, you can swap them. So instead of it being like move one and then move the other, you can just, and it makes it go faster. But it's fun, man.
Damn. I looked over at chat. Chat beat me to it.
What?
I was going to be like, does Clark have a problem with you making a rule like that for Sam? But Chat already beat me. Chat was like, Sam?
What, is the child?
Yeah. That's a solid joke. Beat by Chat.
Classic.
Yeah,
classic
they're too fast. They're too fast, those guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
The only board game I played recently has been Muffin Time. I love that game. That game's great.
It's Muffin Time.
Our dear sweet friend, master of ADQFGM, Muffin Time is a game that I'm trying to think of what the name of that show is. What the hell is the name of that? I'm in an episode. I can't remember. ASDF. That's what it is. Thank you, chat. It's close enough.
GDQ FDM.
Yeah, I was close. If I just keep shouting out enough things, Tomska will be fine and be happy.
Yeah.
So anyway, Muffin Time is this game that is, I want to say, on the party level of something like a Secret Hitler was, or like a like one of those games where it's designed to be like, oh, it's gonna get rowdy, is what it's gonna get. So the way the game plays is you want to get rid of your cards, but everyone around you, or maybe it's you want to get 15. Oh my God, Dodger, it's too early. Whatever the case may be, it's a card-based game. Okay. And all the cards are like about getting and taking cards from people. And what you want to do is like just mess with everyone at the table. But the cards are going to be things like, maybe one is like whoever the oldest person is gets all the cards on the table. Or one might be if you first to 10, have 10 by the time it's your turn again. That's exactly what it is. So you get 10 cards, and then it has to go around the entire room and then back to you. And if you still have 10, you win. But the point is, you have to say, I have 10 cards, and then everyone is going to take their turn to absolutely try to destroy you.
Right.
And take cards from you. So and they'll be like, all right, one card will say something like, person to your left gives you 3 cards. One card might say, the last person to touch a dog, right? Just weird stuff. But then there are trap cards, and the trap cards are things like, first person to ask you what's wrong gives you all their cards. Or it'd be like, first person to laugh. Or if the person tries to take your cards, you can reverse Uno them and like that kind of thing. And so the traps are insane to the point where there's a moment when you're playing, and if someone goes quiet, you're like, I don't know if they're quiet because they're thinking or they want me to ask them a question. So now everyone's like outthinking everyone, trying to figure out how best to win. Right. But at the same time, everyone's actively trying to screw everyone over. Very fun. Yeah. There's like one card that will be like, put this card here or do this or throw. Literally, there's one card that's like throw this thing at someone else at the table. If they catch it, they take all the cards, right? But there's another one that's like, if you throw it at them and they don't catch it, they take all the cards like that. So you don't know which one you've gotten. So people are just, it's a hellscape of a game. I love it. It's so much fun just to like actively screw with people.
Do you ever get to say Muffin Time?
Yeah. There's literally a card called Muffin Time. Oh yeah. I believe that's what you have to shout when you hit 10. I think that's what it is. You go Muffin Time, but there's like so many different versions. Also, there's one card that is literally like a nuke. And if you put it down and someone activates it, everything wipes and you start over. So it like it is it is a bastard of a game, and I love it to death. And so like that's the one I play that frequently now. It's good stuff.
Interesting. I might have to grab that.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. And it's not too like cerebral, you know what I mean? Like you're not doing crazy. It's very simplistic. So I feel like the age can be lower than usual, you know?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Maybe I grab this. Did you play anything? Like
I did. Yeah. So
week?
you and I played this as like part of a brand thing, but I went back and started playing it. So Absolum.
Yeah.
Very fun game. I guess a roguelike version of a beat 'em up. Premise wise is there were these three mothers, these forest mothers, and you are the child of one of them, and you are attempting to defeat this evil red wizard guy, the Crimson Wizard, and he set up towers all over the world, and you have to go beat up these towers and like take on various bosses and stuff. Again, very like I think when you and I played it, we decided it was very Golden Axe coded because you can jump on like dinosaurs or boars or different things, and you can experience if you played Golden Axe back in the arcade back in the day. Plays very similarly, except there are upgrades you get along the way that make you stronger. There's as you play through the levels, you unlock things very much like you would in like a Hades or whatever, where you get buffs over time, and then you can unlock new characters, etc., etc. The only issue I have, while I enjoy this game tremendously, is because it's a roguelite, the difficulty spike. You and I experienced that when we got to the final like Under King boss.
Yes.
Very hard. And at a certain point, getting to him is easy, and then it's like, okay, I have to master this fight. So I'm in that part of it where I restarted and I'm redoing. I beat the 2 mini bosses. I'm discovering a lot of secret areas. Like I keep discovering new things to explore. Like, oh, this is a secret place you didn't go to before. Or because in your previous run, you unlocked this. Now you can go here. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. So there's more to explore and more to do. But with that said, every new area I find is like, we jack the difficulty up, asshole. I'm like, I'm not good enough for this. And so I've definitely been going through that. But man, when you like hit a guy with a juggle and you're juggling some asshole on the edge of the screen, you feel unstoppable. You feel like a stone cold killer. It's good stuff. Yeah, it genuinely is a very fun game, but I am reminded again that I'm not like a roguelite player. I just constantly dying for the like micro increase in strength. I'm like, what if I just killed everyone and I didn't have to do this? It almost makes, but I get it, because what it's doing is it's doing the, Golden Axe thing, but instead of just pumping in quarters like you would as a kid, if you died, now you're just going back, you're stronger, you can go back through, you're learning. Like, I get it. I understand what it wants me to do, and it's very, very good. The art is incredible. The combat's super fun. But, like, also, I'm like, if I just had quarters, if I could just pump it and it could keep going with the story. Because right now I'm at the point where, like, thankfully the game's really good at, when you go through levels, there'll be little glowy things. And if you click on it, your mother will, like, this is a thing that has to do with the world. And you're like, okay, cool. Thankfully, the game does a good job of, with each run, new things unlock to click on. So it isn't just the same information over and over again, or the information just stops. You'll find new story pieces to keep going, or new things. Like, one of the ones I'm working on now is like, you got to find a furnace so you can activate this elevator. And the elevator is going to lead you to another secret thing. I'm like, all right, where the hell's the furnace? So as I'm going through the run, I'm trying to find it. And I know on the map it says it's in the south. So I'm like, well, I'll stick to the southern route and hopefully discover it. And sometimes it unlocks with a cutscene. Sometimes it unlocks with like a character showing up on screen and be like, what's down there? Looks like a misty area to me. And then you run over there. And then, you jump in and then you get having a blast. Good stuff. I wanted to go back to it after we played it and was like, I got to try this again. And here we are. And I genuinely like the game. I'm just not good at roguelites. I'm just not. Because my patience wears thin. I'm like, what if I just won? What if you just let me win this? They don't.
Yeah. Yeah, because because the like small incremental increases are built into the gameplay. typically those games do get drastically harder as you go.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. And it's not one of those things where it's like, I don't know what to do. So for example, the Underking boss. Like in my mind, I know it's 1, 2, 3 strikes and then 1 hard hit. I know on second phase, it's 1 swing and then he turns his weapon around and fires a gun at you. I know that I can see the abilities in my brain. But when you, like, if you get hit once, it's like half your life.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, so room for error is almost like that one boss in Expedition 33, which was, oh, if you don't dodge this or block this, he'll one-shot you. It's like, okay, so it's a skill-based test is what we're doing. Not like I can screw up, but I can like force my way through this. Like, no. You have to like actually do it. So that's where I'm at, where I'm like, all right, I just need to buckle down and do this. The problem is it isn't, oh, I buckled down and did it. It's, I died, I have to restart the entire thing and go back.
Yeah.
And that for me is, I'm like, I'm going to forget everything. I was in the zone. I'm going to forget it. So I've been working through it. And my objective is hopefully by the time I'm done with this little break here is to actually have beaten it. We'll see. Nice. Yeah, we'll see.
I believe
that's
in
kind of what
I'm
messing around with that. Also, been messing around with I'm still on that Total War Warhammer 40K vibe. So I've been playing through Warhammer 3. There are like 4 factions left I have to play that I realize now why I've been putting them off, because I clearly tried to play them before and the victory conditions are so insane and so tough that I understand now why I stopped. Like, there are some factions where it's just, I was trying to do Vampire Coast. It's one of the ones I haven't done. And every time I do, I think, I don't know if this is a factional thing or if a recent update was what caused this. I don't know. But recently, in the last, I don't know, since I started this endeavor of trying to play this, there are these things in the game now where more frequently, one of your cities will have something established in it that you didn't want. So, for example, either like some Skaven Undercity, or like this cult of the Purple Hand, or like random things will happen. So I was playing as Luthor Harkon, the Pirate King, right? And so I'm trying to do like a thing. I'm fighting the Lizardmen. I'm fighting the Skaven. I'm doing this whole thing. And it's like, an unusual location has appeared in one of your cities. I'm like, okay. Go to click on it. It's like, it's going to cost you 9,000 gold to get rid of it. I'm like, and I look at it and it says like, if not removed, there's a 20% chance it could blow up your city. I'm like, what? So now I have to spend 9K on this damn thing. I'm like, oh my God. All right. So then I'm like, all right, next turn. And then this, like, the call to the Purple Hand says they're going to establish a base in one of your things. Either accept it and get 1,000 gold, or tell them, hell no, they'll still establish it, but they promise not to do it again. And I was like, no, tell them no. So then they establish a thing. I'm like, all right, how much is it going to cost to get rid of this? 90,000 gold. I'm like, what do you mean? And then
my God,
the next turn, it's like, the call to the Purple Hand has established a base. I'm like, I told them not to do that. They said they wouldn't do that. And there's another one now. And I'm like, so that's 180K. I'm making 5K a turn. What do you mean? And so then the next turn, it happens again. Like, back to back, 5 turns. The call to the Purple Hand is just popping up. I'm like, I can't do anything about this. And there's potential for this to end in disaster. And for each Purple Hand cult thing they have, the chances of them spreading it even more increases. So now everything is just like running amok.
But the entire time.
Yes. Meanwhile, I'm fighting a 2-sided war against the Skaven and the Lizard Men, and I'm like, I can't. What? And it gets even worse. So I was like, all right, well, screw it. I'm just going to, I'm going to start playing. I think I have the ogres to beat still. So I'll go and I'll play the ogres. Started an ogre campaign. I'm doing great. I'm in the mountains. Everyone's like, I'm trading with people. I have a great thing going on. I've killed all the chaos around me. All the humans are like, do you want stuff. I'm like, I want stuff, right? And everything's great. And I'm like, all right, my objectives I need in order to win and get this achievement, I have to do this, this, and this. Great, let's get it done. So I'm going through the process. And then one of the characters, who's like this changeling guy, decides I'm the one who's going to go after. And so I've got chaos throughout my entire kingdom. The land has changed. I can't get rid of it. And the guy, because he's invisible and or can pretend to be someone else, I'm like, I hate this so much. I have 4 factions left. 4, that's it, out of all of them. And I just can't do it. It's driving me crazy. No matter what, this new patch has made it almost impossible to play a hard version of the Immortal Empires campaign. If you play it on easy or whatever, I'm sure it's fine. But the minute you hit hard mode, it's the worst. I'm like, I'm not good enough. I can't do this.
Yeah.
Dukes. And I do the same thing I did with Civ. I got to like the end game and I wasn't sufficiently pleased with how I progressed. I'm like, delete, let's start over.
I was literally about to ask you, how often would you say, like, what percentage of games do you progress into the end game with?
Almost all. Like so in Total War, for example, you have like a short victory and then a long victory. And the long victory is the one you get the achievement for. So like there's a bunch of achievements and most of them are like beat the game on very hard or legendary with this character, right? And so you're like, all right, yeah, I'll pick this faction and we'll go through this. I'm trying to do very hard. Like I'm trying to learn to be like very good at very hard because there's one achievement that's like from jump, beat it on legendary. And I want to do that as Archeon the Everchosen because something about beating it as Chaos United where you're gonna have to kill everyone on the map. I'm like, I gotta do that on legendary because that'd be amazing. With that said, I'm trying to do like very hard mode for me often is the game will go on long enough to the point where there's only 3 factions left and it's literally like you're like Dynasty Warriors where it's one's they keep pushing back and no one can truly win and I give up. I'm like, ugh. So I'm trying to get to the point where like all I want to do is do the long campaign victory. I'm not trying to do this domination victory. F that noise, don't care. The problem is that a lot of the time it's like, okay, so in order to do this victory, you need to travel to the other side of the world and you need to do this one thing or beat this. I'm like, oh my God. Okay, sure. So I will get short victory almost all the time. It's when you get into that long victory phase when things start to get crazy on the map and some factions just start to get real pain in the assy where you've been friends for like 800 turns and then suddenly they're like, we're going to attack you now. And you're like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? We were brother in arms. Yeah. And so and then you're like, all my units are on the other side of the map. So they start taking and you're like, all right. So then you have to make new armies. It gets crazy. And that happens so frequently in that late game that the amount of times I've stopped and restarted, especially on Wood Elves. I have not to this day beaten a campaign with Wood Elves at all. Every time I play as the Wood Elves, I'm like, all right, let's do this. I know what I need to do. And I get everyone's like, Wood Elves? Lick my scrot. And they come and I just don't.
This is why I like Against the Storm. Against the Storm is so like compact base building. And like, once whatever the like one objective is that you have, once you've done that, they're like, nice. Build a new base, start over. And I'm like, I would love to, I just don't have the patience for like base and army builders that go on for a long time.
Sure. With that said, I actually, and I like this in Civ, I like it in Total War. I've always liked this. The first like couple turns are always the best. Late game in those games always annoys me. There's so much micromanaging. Like it always drives me crazy. I'm a huge fan of that first like phase, the first like 100 turns where, anything's possible, man. And you can, look what we're doing. We're having fun. It isn't until later in every one of these games where I'm like, I'm just next turning guy. I'm like, all right, it can get better. Next turn, it can get better. It really can.
Yeah.
Every time. I'm always like that. I always think this is it. This is going to be good. Never is. Never is. Although I will say the new factions they added, there's this guy who's like Sail the Faithless, I think is his name. That dude's great. That dude's so much fun. I love that just having a guy who like his whole mechanic is betray people. So I don't have to deal with anyone. I'm like, no, sure, I'm your friend, whatever. Betrayed, bitch. Like, I love it. And he has a whole list of abilities that are like, oh, this turn, you can steal an item from someone. Oh, this turn, you can literally buy their entire army. Oh, like this turn, like, oh, it's great. It's there's kind of a similar gimmick for the, oh my God, the big fat ogre guy who doesn't walk. Because he's like, I don't need to walk, I'm a big fat ogre. That guy, kind of similar, except even more diabolical. And frankly, I love it. I love the idea of having a guy who's like, yep, we're just gonna move my boys over here, and because he's not like a chaos faction, but he's Norskin, I don't have to deal with all the chaos nonsense. I just destroy the world. And frankly, big fan. Loved it. That was my fastest victory I've ever had. I was like, this guy rules. So shout out to the new characters. Yeah, they gave us a new snake lady. She's fun. And then they gave us an elf who's like, I like to sail. Here are my water dragons. And you're like, ugh. All right, bud. Okay.
I love that.
Yes. Yeah. So, but I'm honestly, this is just holding me off till 40K. Like I'm so excited. You have no clue.
Yeah.
That's going to be so much fun. I'm going to bring chaos back. Full steam. Space chaos.
I'm ready. Yeah, I love watching my friends play those games. I don't enjoy playing them. But it's when the person who's playing clearly cares about every moment of the game, it's fun to watch. It's fun. Yeah. So I will watch you play.
On a side note, real quickly, I don't want to get into it because I know you haven't played it. Shout out to whoever the writing team is, obviously Soken, obviously everyone at Final Fantasy XIV. Patch 7.4 is a banger.
Oh.
It's incredibly well done. I love it. I'm so happy. It feels like we're back, baby. And I'm really excited for what's to come. It like came out the gate swinging and kept swinging and gave me everything I needed and wanted. And I honestly, as it was playing out, I was like, did I write this? Did I write this? Because it feels like everything I wanted is showing up right now. It's good stuff. Big fan. Big fan.
Adjacent thing, shout out to the newest Warframe update. Their Emmett Selk character is in the game now. And everybody wants to kiss that blue Emmett Selk.
Everyone has an Emmett Selk they want to kiss. Yeah, no, I get it. I get it.
They hired the same voice actor to basically play the same character except blue. It's great. It's great. I love it. I love it.
That's really funny. And it's so funny to me that Warframe really is kind of like, oh, did you, and they've done this before with other things like, oh, did you love this character from this other game? Well, it's not going to be that character, but it is that voice actor playing a character that is the exact same vibe in this game. So even though they're gone from the other game, come play ours, bitch. And I'm like, that's brilliant. And I love it. I love it. Yeah.
There's a hot nun. It's great. It's a great update.
Damn, I need to play Warframe.
You should play Warframe. There's a hot nun in the game now. Yeah.
Great.
We should play Warframe.
I will. I'll play it. Yeah. All right. Easy. Done. I would love that. Yeah. It's Dukes. It's been a wild time over in the 14 world, speaking of voice acting. So as people know, Jonathan Bailey, sweet boy.
Sexiest man alive, 2025.
Sexiest man alive, right?
Yep.
He has been getting cast in more and more roles in Hollywood. And so his playing Grahatia, everyone was like really worried about him playing Grahatia. Like, he's going to keep doing it, right?
Yeah.
The new patch came out and Graha's voice sounds different. And no one can tell whether it's because Jonathan Bailey had a cold or whether it's a different voice actor. And let me tell you, the community has lost their goddamn minds. The amount of people,
the discourse is crazy.
And it's like one of the most non-things in the history of things. It does, like, it kind of sounds like him, for sure, but he also sounds sick. So it very well could be, but people with no information have started crafting theories about like what Square Enix is doing, and they hired someone else. And then because they asked one of the gaming websites out there put out a thing that said, hey, he's not doing interviews right now about Final Fantasy 14 because he was doing Wicked interviews. People are like, he's not talking about it. That means he's out. His publicist doesn't want people to know. And people are just assuming, and everyone's like, we lost him. He's gone. And first off, let me just stress, if there was ever a reason for a voice actor not to do a voice anymore, I feel like this would be a valid one. Yeah. I feel like this would be more than a valid reason, as he has done so many things lately, and he is absolutely like a Hollywood it guy now. And I guarantee if Square Enix doesn't pay him what he's definitely worth, then that's on them, right? So, okay, but also there's no evidence for anything. People are just like coming up with stuff.
Yeah. As we so often see on the internet, is people just regurgitate things back and forth until it's turned into a whole thing. I assume, because I did listen to a couple of the voice lines because I was like, what are they talking about? And I assumed, that he is not recording in his normal place, that he's been doing interviews for Wicked constantly and is on the move. And like, it sounds different. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't sound as crispy great as it normally does. But
and he has like he definitely has that. The voice has like maybe I have a cold sound, but again, it could just be someone else trying to mimic his voice. But later on in the, like when you first hear it, it doesn't sound exactly like him. But later on in the patch, it does start to sound more and more like him. So I don't know if his voice needed to warm up. I don't know what was going on that day. I don't know what the recording is. The only takeaway I have
who don't know. Sorry. For those of you who don't know, he is Fiero in Wicked 1 and 2. Like he's the romantic lead in two of the biggest movies right now. Right? He's busy. He's a booked busy boy. But he's also our cat boy, and we're very proud of him. To be clear, some people, much like what you're talking about, Emmett Selk, some people have decided to make loving him more than reasonable. Some people are a little like they love
invested
him in
it.
service to them, not him being successful in other ways that don't service them.
Yes. They like the fact that they're like, that's my cat boy. I love his voice. The real person better do this forever because this is what I want rather than what's best for this man's career. It's like, no, I'm more important.
Right.
And that's a lot of that. And so it's interesting to see people like really overreact. Like this is end of days stuff. Like it is. There's no evidence, there's no nothing, but the community is completely like, when you play through that, Dukes, the amount of people that would show up in my chat and be like ready to fight when I was like, I don't think, it doesn't affect me all that much.
Dude.
It sounds fine. I'm not stressed. Like Yushtola in the beginning of Dawn Trail was clearly, the actor was pregnant, so she was recording from home. So it sounds a little different. Yeah. Sid back in 5.3 literally sounded different, but like it was still the same actor. Urion J has had different, depending on when they're recording. My big takeaway is why Square Enix is making the English voice actors do one and dones. I'm like, why not reschedule if they're sick? That doesn't make any sense. But they won't. And I feel like it's one of those things where they just don't care.
They only get so many voiced scenes. Like, just let them get it right. Yeah.
I think it goes back to kind of like when I played JRPGs as a kid, where like, the Japanese voice actors had like the greatest voice acting in the world, and the US ones were like, oh no, let's get out of here, Fuji-chan. And you're like, ugh. So I'm used to it, so it doesn't affect me to have weird voice acting in it. Like I'm not going to stress over it. But a lot of people have like emotionally glommed on to Grahatia as a character and are like really attached in a way that probably is like, if you're freaking out, I'm like, yo, I don't know how to help you. Like, this game will end one day. These characters, Yeah, like you understand there was a time when these characters all had different voices. In A Realm Reborn, they all sounded completely different. So like, I don't know what to tell you. Things change. Yeah, I will say I'm curious. I know there was a big change in the Hoyo-verse where a bunch of, during the actors strike, a bunch of actors from that game left and were replaced. And so I wonder if that community had the same vibe. I would have to imagine there was someone who was just like very upset that their character voice changed or something, you know?
Yeah.
But it's never, I was not fussed at all. People were like, what do you think, Jesse? I was like, I don't care. Like the character was the exact same character. He just sounded like maybe he had a cold that day when they were doing some, like he had to help you save the world.
And so more importantly, talking in circles about it doesn't actually change the voice acting or what's going on.
It already happened. Yeah, they're not going to fix
whatever is happening. We have nothing to do with it, actually.
Sure.
So no matter what you've landed on, until they've confirmed it or felt like it was necessary to talk about, you're always going to be in limbo. It's like you don't need to be thinking about it anymore, you know?
Yeah. It's
wild.
And what's crazy is I promise, unless there's like a huge kerfluffle, if 7.5 comes out and it just sounds like him again, this will have meant nothing. You know what I mean? This will have meant nothing. People have lost their minds over literally nothing. It's like, calm down. It's very interesting. But I do understand people's attachment to the character. I watched people cry like crazy over this character. So like, I get it. With that said, okay, like most of the time, 90% of the time, it's your voice doing it.
Right. Yeah.
So like, take it down a notch. Like, it's fine.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah. So I've been living that for a while.
Yeah. Would you like to, as we're like wrapping up, would you like to describe or pitch this lovely interview that's going to be added on to the end of the episode?
Sure. So I got to sit down with Chris from Dispatch, and he is, if you played Dispatch, there's one episode that has a very dramatic ending. I don't want to spoil anything. By the way, no spoils. We don't talk spoils at all in this. But after a very dramatic moment, there is a cut to black and a credit appears, and it's his name. And so anyone who experienced this very dramatic moment in the game where you were like, what? And then it ended, the first name you see is his. And so we got to talk about like that kind of stuff, like being the guy behind that kind of thing. But most of it's the discussion of the game. We talk about like, you know, the idea of the process of creating the whole string of A to B to C and trying to figure out how are we going to make this game and how do we create, scenes where if player made this choice early on and it dramatically affects the game, how do we keep the game flowing without it just, we've played games where you make a choice and then 2 hours later you get a cutscene and you're like, what does that mean? Because it didn't know where to put you.
Because it desynced,
We talk about that kind of thing. We talk about, making characters that people can fall in love with. We talk about their actual really smart strategy of releasing it every week, like a TV show, rather than it being this sort of, we released it and then 4 months later release another thing. So it's that kind of stuff. It's less, we're not talking about like the plot of the game. So if you haven't played it, you can still watch and enjoy the process.
Or about like
of
what it's like to
it.
develop a game like that.
Yeah. I don't want to spoil things because I think it's a really great game. Yeah. And we also learn from him whether there are fail states or not. So if you really screw around, will the game be like, you were terrible, goodbye? And you can find that out too. So a lot of fun stuff.
Nice.
That's kind of what the interview is. And hopefully you will stick around and watch that. It's good stuff. Hello, everyone. Welcome to a very special end of the year Geekenders treat. I'm joined by Chris Rebbert, who is one of the amazing devs on Dispatch, a game that Dodger and I both love very, very much. Sadly, Dodger's not here. She's off doing family stuff. Ugh. And so I have the pleasure of sitting down and having a conversation with probably one of the devs that really impacted how you view the game, because Chris, as far as I'm aware, you were kind of really behind the last half of the game.
To a degree, yeah, definitely highly with episodes 5 and 6. Those were kind of my babies. I co-directed episode 5 with Dennis, directed episode 6. I was on the writing team, and then was involved, I guess, throughout the season. But yeah, more so on the last half of the game for sure.
Well,
I wish I could take more credit for episode 8 because it's so amazing and there's so many great things in there. But I was more involved with 5 through 7.
Gotcha. Yeah. Thank you for taking the time, by the way. It's a pleasure to have you here. So I really wanted to jump in and talk about like the process of making this game to start with, because I know it was kind of like a winding road to get this done. And I would love to hear kind of what that was like, and how you got from A to B to C to everyone out there kind of being like, this game rules, dude. Like, what was that like? Because obviously effort and time and energy was put into this because you can feel it in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. It absolutely was by everybody on the team. And yeah, I mean, it's not A to B to C. It's kind of A to H to X back to B. Just because of the way the development happened was quite bizarre. And I think a lot of this is public knowledge now, but I'll try to do a quick recap. I actually started at Ad Hoc. I worked with the Ad Hoc founders back at Telltale, and was like the first employee that they hired back in the very beginning of 2020, actually. And this was the first thing I worked on. Briefly, we were still working on it as a live action experience, if you can believe it, at that point. So actually, funny enough, the first thing I worked on was a version of the donut shop scene from episode 2.
Okay.
Where Robert is sort of like eyes in the sky for Invisigal the first time. And then there was revs already on the design, but Dennis and I kind of jumped in, and there was, at the time, there's old mechanics, even more mechanics involved in that scene, but essentially the foundation of the scene still stands from back then. So then we kind of hit the pause button for several years. I think it was still lingering in the background. We were working on some other projects. And then I think, a long story short, it became apparent that Dispatch had already had the most work done on it. You know, we had already had the story. I don't want to say we had the story done because there was more, like years more of writing at that point.
Sure.
But it was still like the foundation was still very strong, I think. And we were all like, that was a cool story. We should tell that. And that it would make a great interactive experience. So I think about 2022, maybe, we kind of, towards the end of 2022, we had our first sort of like writer's room again, like in person on site. We sat down, and actually at that point, I think the first 3 or 4 episodes were fairly fleshed out. But I'm sure they changed. It's hard to remember at this point since then. But yeah, we kind of had like, we approached it, I guess, more like a television show where we had writer's rooms and just did multiple passes on the scripts. And, you know, beat out the season, wrote versions of it, realized that it wasn't working, threw a lot of work away, kept rewriting it. I kind of did that, I think, forgive me if my timeline is wrong here, but maybe through the end of 2023. And then concurrently, along with that, the sort of design and gameplay side of the team, the programmers, designers, and even ourselves to some degree, we're doing more prototypes and trying to figure out all the mechanics, you know, everything from the dispatch and the hacking. The dispatch itself was like its own game development cycle. I think that whole, the map with sending all the heroes and stuff, that just had its whole sort of dedicated team who were constantly iterating. And I'm sure at some point maybe there'll be other versions of what that could have looked like out to the public, because it went through many iterations before it got to where it is. But yeah, I feel like I lost my train of thought there, but it was mostly, you know, it was like we check in with the two teams, the sort of writing side, and then the design team, and they were constantly kind of informing each other. And then once the writing was more or less locked, and I say the writing, it was more sort of like the cinematic parts of the game were more or less locked. The writing during the, you know, all the barks and all the character banter and stuff like that, and all the scenario text was in development, and being revised and reapproached several times throughout the cycle, just based on gameplay and feedback and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm gonna say end of 2022, end of 2023, beginning of 2024, we started more production on the like sort of cinematic version that you see in the cutscenes and stuff like that. And not to say that writing didn't change, and we sort of reevaluated things, but at that point we entered the storyboard phase, and then eventually the animation phase. Yeah, and it was a lot.
Going back to what you first said, was the implication that the original version of this was like an FMV game with like live actors and stuff?
To be careful, I don't know quite. It definitely live actors, definitely. Yeah, I mean, yes.
Because I'm obsessed with FMV games, and the quality of them keeps increasing, especially the ones coming out of China right now, which are wild. And I'm like, in my mind, somewhere there's a version where it's just people in superhero suits doing a thing, and I kind of, in a parallel universe, wish I would have got that, because that is both very funny and extremely up my alley.
Yeah, I think that was essentially what it was going to be. And I might be wrong in saying this, but I don't believe the actual dispatch mechanic was present in that version of the game. It might have been a pie in the sky version, but I think it was more about just sort of the interactive live action cutscenes. And I think there was more of there was another mechanic that was, it's too hard to explain, but there was another mechanic that played into that. But essentially, yes, it was an FMP game.
I'm really curious, as someone who has been there before and is obsessed with other companies when they finally show kind of like the wall of all the points of what was that like in Office of, okay, we have so many story beats and possible paths. How did that look? Did you have like a physical representation, or was there like a twine thing that you had? Like, how did you keep all straight?
I mean, we're entirely remote studio. We had a couple like on sites just to kind of like be in the trenches for like a week at a time. But we mostly did that on a program called Miro, which is like virtual whiteboarding. And I think it was several Miro boards, because we kept outgrowing the amount of content it could load. Like we had to like call Miro and get like tech support at some points because we had too much stuff on certain boards. And we had several boards worth of stuff, like one I think for each iteration of the script, and then again, like every time it got too big, we'd have to start another board because we just ran out of memory. But yeah, there's several of those. I think some are still on our Miro account. So maybe at some point we can give you a preview, because it definitely looks like I don't think we could make heads or tails of it anymore if I had to look at it again.
That's one of my favorite things is after the fact, when a company releases like, okay, this is our storyboarding, or this is kind of how we plan things, and you look at it and it looks like one of those like Pepe Sylvia lines to like red string trying to solve.
Yep.
What the hell? And it's always entertaining because it seems like complete gibberish, but for a moment, it was the guiding foundation of what that game was going to be. It's like, okay, we have to hit this. And like if you have one story and you have a bunch of cards, for example, and then you have one story with like only a few, you got to think like, okay, we have to readjust. And there's like did you have a lot of that where you would look at it and say, you know, we're realizing that we have a little too much Visigal?
I mean, maybe not that sentiment in particular, but
Sure.
It definitely does help you kind of balance like screen time and character beats and sort of like that. I mean, the notes, the cards though are often pretty high level, right? Like that's where it actually became, I think, at least for me personally, a little bit. It would become outdated every time we started scene work, because, you know, when a writer jumps in and starts doing a scene on their own, you find opportunities for callbacks and things like that to choices the player made, and like things you can't see, like
Sure.
from the 1,000-mile view, or whatever they call it, you know, the bird's eye view of looking at the season. So sometimes like those things wouldn't get updated, and then it's a game of like going back and writing to other people's scripts and vice versa and stuff like that. But yeah, it was a lot, like I said, and I don't think it. It's weird because, I mean, I struggle with this as personally as a writer, so I think it affects my sort of perspective when working in a team too. Is like when I'm looking at like an outline, like you just see a note card that says like, you know, Robert and Visigal go to the movies, for instance, right? Like that's kind of as much as it says, you know. And it's like that could be a nice scene, you know. We kind of understand how we're getting into that scene, but we don't know what the dialogue's going to say, you know. We don't know any of that kind of stuff. So it's once the scene started to take shape, you get a better sense for like how, you know, who's lacking, where do we need, where are we missing, like what are the beats we're missing, we're trying to follow the emotional ups and downs of this thing, right? Like what do we, where have we kind of failed to kind of like, you know, put a good mile marker, you know, and so that when we look back, especially when the scenes are conditional based on player's playthrough, right? Like then you start to see like, you start to play path, we had like clickable versions of the script first, I think, and even then I think we would like play paths on paper that would be like, you know, like I played this way and I didn't feel like this was earned because I missed this beat or I missed this scene or something like that.
Yeah.
So either you need to kind of connect those or find a new way to sort of like cover that territory, I guess, that emotional territory.
While playing through, I think like most people, I was actively trying to win. And so I was trying to do my best and like, who's my love interest and how am I going to be a good guy? And With that said, I didn't experience it, but I am curious because I have a plan of a second playthrough that I want to do, but I figured I should ask in advance, are there fail states?
It was a big sort of decree not to have like what feels like a hard fail, right? Like there's no fail states in terms of like, you can't fail to experience the story, you know?
Right.
Like, and that was something, you know, I worked on The Walking Dead for years and, you know, it just always felt bad when you would be having a QT and then you'd miss one and then Clem would die of a zombie. Because it's like, it just stops the story at that point in this kind of game, right? Like, it's not a great time. It's not and, you know, nobody plays these games for the QTs. They're sort of like a device to get you through more like action-paced cinematic sequences, you know?
Yeah.
So there was, as far as I can think, there's not any like hard fails, right? Like fails will change the way that the story develops, but it's not a fail in terms of like you lost, right?
Like
so
while doing the dispatch part,
depends on what you say. Yeah,
while doing the dispatch part, you can clearly not do well. I've been there.
Yeah,
but my dream run of this game is to do the Jesse Pinkman run. I literally have the hat right there. I'm ready to do the stream where I do actively piss everyone off and actively do not help the dispatching at all. Like I want to see if I can just do nothing good and see where the game takes me. Because I want to just be an ass. And then, because before I was like, I'm a good guy and I'm going to do things. And now I'm like, nah, dude, I'm going to be the meanest person possible. I'm not going to help in any way. I'm going to be a complete dick. And I'm assuming that is a thing I can do. And it won't be like game over, loser.
No, I mean, unfortunately, you know, like you could just see what all those choices bring you, like on a small scale. But, you know, unfortunately, we're not in a place where it's like Robert gets fired because you're performing so bad and the story just ends. Because I don't think anybody wants that experience, right?
Oh, like, no, I want to see how people, you know, down the line, we're like episode 7. I want to know how truly awful I can make things. And if it's possible, because I always find like doing that kind of thing shows you some really interesting scenes or creative choices the devs made. And you can see kind of like what's going on there. And if they even thought about it. So I was like, do you think I could be a bad person? Now I'm
I would say there's some consequences in there for somebody who would play like that, you know, aren't optimal, so to speak.
Great.
But nothing's going to stop the game. Like nothing's going to like quote unquote fail the game.
Perfect. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, that was my worry is that I'd somehow unlock, you know, like in episode 2, it's like, you're terrible at this. You're fired. And it's like, all right, guess I'm taking up drinking. Like, I was like, okay, what am I going to do? But if there's no fail state, perfect. I love that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. We try to just hold a mirror up to like, you made this choice, here's what you get from it, you know? And it's not always like changes the entire path of the game, right? But hopefully the moments where it pays off, like it reminds you like, yeah, you acted this way, you know? So now you have to deal with the consequences.
When Dispatch came out and I heard, oh, it's episodic, my first thought was, I'll get to it when we're a few episodes in, right? Because in my mind, I think episodic, it is, we're going to get episode 1, and then 4 months later, episode 2, and then 4 months later, episode 3, or however long it's going to be. And with this game, it was like 1 week, 2 week, like you said, TV show. It had that vibe to it. And we were getting episode releases. I believe it was 2 per week of just one after the other. And it, not only did it feel like you were a part of a thing while you were playing with everyone in the community and you're talking about it, and it felt like kind of watching a TV show release, but it also felt like when you went to the Steam page, as an example, it was on that front page every single day. And I was like, this is genius. On a level, I was like, this is so smart. It's in the cultural ethos. You go on TikTok, you go on YouTube, and it was just, everyone had thoughts and opinions on like, yo, who you fall in love with, right? Like everyone had things, and I was swept up in it immediately. So the idea of me pushing it off a week or whatever, I was like, nope, I gotta buy it now. And I feel like that's what a lot of people had. And I'm so curious what, like, if you were involved in the thought process there, or you had any thoughts on it yourself, what that was like.
I wasn't directly involved in the thought process, but I mean, I can take guesses, and it's no secret that it's part of our legacy. I think the core creative team behind the company, or Telltale alumni. Yeah, alumni. So it was something that we did like that, and I think at Telltale specifically, we just never got to see it fully realized, because that was always, I think, the hope even back then. I mean, that's a bit of conjecture, but I think everybody back then wanted this type of experience where people were sort of engaged for long periods of time and tuned in and couldn't wait for the next installment and stuff like that, and it would come at a promised time, and you could actually look forward to it, as opposed to like the next episode keep getting kicked out, based on production needs. So I think there was a desire to sort of like see that done correctly, I guess, for once, at least from where we're standing. I'm sure there's been a better cadence with other developers, but like just so that we could have that experience. But I don't know that it was nice. It was interesting watching that the comments change, right? Because you're very right. Like, I think a lot of people at first were like, episodic, like what? Nobody likes episodic games anymore, And then, as I watched the streams every week, every Wednesday they'd come out, I'd watch a couple streams, I just bounce around on Twitch and see what people were doing. And then it became like really like that water cooler sort of environment that I think we sought personally, like, because I met all these guys, we were still in an office together at Telltale. And we'd have those moments from other things, from like TV shows we watched or movies or whatever it was, or games, but not episodic ones because they weren't quite as abundant back then. Not that they're hugely abundant now, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But I think, look, like Nick, Dennis, Pierre, Michael, they're all like extremely smart guys, and I don't think it was an accident that we remained relevant for 4 weeks because of that, right? I wasn't privy to conversations from which it was like, it's going to be great. We're going to get front page status longer, But I can't imagine that was an accident. It was like, yeah, it prolongs our game, and it. But I think from where I'm standing, just watching the community, watching people come together, like every Wednesday we had more players and more people in streams, and like I miss the fan base misses it already, and I miss it already because it was like it was a reason to come together, which we don't often have these days, I think, culturally,
Absolutely. Yeah. It was kind of like an internet cultural moment for a lot of people where everyone was involved as it was coming out. And it also had kind of, and I don't know if this is like a byproduct or the actual intention, but it had this kind of feeling of, as it releases and you see it's every week, it kind of hits a space in your brain that says, oh, this is done. This isn't like we're releasing this in episode 1 to fund episode 2. This is a thing. We made a choice to release it like a TV show and get involved in the hype. And we're going to, all the episodes are there. We're not trying to like, I don't imagine there was a lot of production happening during those weeks that was like, boy, we got to scramble and get episode 2 done. Like that kind of thing.
I'd be the team was still hard at work putting the finishing touches. Every week was like releasing a different game essentially, or another game. But yeah, I mean, like the cinematics, the cutscenes were finished at that point. The game design was more or less finished. It was just about like making sure we had the cleanest release possible at that point, and like getting in the last details that we weren't sure we'd have time for, essentially. But yeah, I mean, and that was essential to, I think, its success for us. Like we, like again, you know, not to repeat myself, but coming from Telltale and watching that cadence fall off, right? Like we were just like, we don't want to fuck around with people. Can I cuss? Sorry.
You can. Fuck, okay. You can. It's all good. Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Good. Then now you've given me permission. I feel like it's all I'm gonna do. But yeah, we don't want to fuck around with people. We wanted to make sure that like they signed up for it, like they were gonna get every Wednesday until it was over. The next 2 episodes to the best of our ability, you know, to the completionist ability. So yeah, I forgot the question now, but it was very it was a very intentional. Like we wanted to make sure that experience was clean and finished and felt pristine, as pristine as possible with our team.
Yeah, it really did. And one of the things, I think you mentioned this, and having been a big fan of, you know, Telltale games and all the FMV games that come out that are episodic, and all the different like choice-driven games that like you know, Supermassive was doing, or Quantic Dream was, like all these different companies that have all these different games. It is very noticeable when you have episode 1 land and everyone's excited, and then time passes, episode 2 comes out and it drops off. Like, sure, people are still excited, but it's not as exciting as the first one. And this excitement built as it went along, which is very rare and was extremely endearing as you're playing it, because you're like, oh, I can't wait. And then you see people online be like, oh, I can't wait. And that made it, again, like I was saying, you're caught up in the moment of this like cultural thing that people are very excited about.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I hope we can recapture it, just because living through it, if nothing else, it was amazing. You know, it was just like, I mean, I was still, again, hard at work at that point, like putting final touches on later episodes, but on one of my monitors, right, there was always on Wednesday and probably even Thursday and Friday, there was always a stream up just watching people react and then watch it and then trying to read all the comments and just, I mean, and then my Instagram like feed, I'm not on TikTok because I would just never be off my phone, I think. But my Instagram reels and stuff were like influxed with dispatch content, you know, which was just banana, like every week. And then like, you know, I've worked in games now for 10 years and I have a lot of friends and family who just don't play or they're too old or whatever. But like, it's the first time something I was working on like influenced their sphere of influence, like beyond just sort of like core gamer culture, you know? Yeah. And they were sending me stuff, which was crazy. And like, I mean, for instance, like, I mean, I don't want to give any spoilers, but end of episode 6, there's like a big sort of like, you know, emotional moment. I don't even want to like paint it, you know? But then it like people were like stunned, and then it cuts to my name. Like it just cuts, and that was like, there was like millions of views on TikTok with like that happening. And I was like, and people were sending me that, and I was like, whoa, this is like bigger than I ever could have possibly imagined. You know, my little cousins, I'm in my 40s. They usually don't care about me, but I have cousins who are young and cool, and they're messaging me, I just saw your name on TikTok. So it's yeah, I feel like I keep losing your point. You're not quite responding to your question.
Oh no, I love it. It's kind of what I was hinting at during the introduction, where I was like, yes, you know, the person who you definitely have thoughts about. Like, I love that.
Yeah. Oh man, I was terrified about that too. Like, I was like, they're going to be in a raw emotional state, and the first thing they're going to see is my name. But luckily, everyone's been pretty cool about it so far. Yeah.
I mean, because, you know, if it was bad, then I can see that being not great, but it was fantastic. So obviously, it was a great moment, solid beat. I did have a question about the kind of, I have a theory, and I don't know if this is something that you crafted or just came naturally, but I have a theory about video games. It's the Jesse Cox theory of someone to fall in love with. I'm convinced every good game must have a person in it for the player to attach to and be like, I love that character. Be it personality or looks or whatever. Like from jump, you're like, oh, that's the character for me. That's who I'm into, and that's why I respond to this game. And I'm convinced the games that don't like nail it are the ones that it's like, it's just a character. it's a person who exists, and it's like, oh, you have no connection to this person on like, not just a like, wow, this blank character represents everyone. Like when you read or you think of like a Hunger Games-esque teen novel where it's like the main character is a blank slate for you to imprint on. This is kind of like, no. I want to see these people and, invest in them and fall in love, which again, I think goes back to the chat being very passionate, is they connect with people. And I'm convinced every great game has that. It's like, this is who I connect with and who I genuinely love. And then that gets to like the weirder parts of the internet, but it's like, yeah, it is you respond well to something. And I don't know if that was a plan you had at the beginning, or if it developed that way, or if it was over time, what the process was for that.
I mean, it's a plan in that I think from our approach, right? Like, story is character, right? Like, if you don't like our characters, you don't care about a story. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's as simple as that. And I feel like in the writing, Pierre didn't let us get away with like generic like everyone had to have a very specific voice. Everyone like I think one of the biggest notes was like something like, this is first idea, or I've seen this before. Like, what's the detail that's making this person pop? Like making them feel like that. Just constantly digging a layer deeper, like making sure that each character feels like A, they have an agenda, B, they have flaws, but C, they have a voice. So I think, I mean, if we don't have that in our game specifically, it's dead on arrival, right? So, right. We don't have like, I'm terrible at remembering exactly your question, but we don't have
That's
like a formula.
Because I ramble a bunch, so it's all right.
yeah. But we don't have a formula. It's just really like, I think it's, it's writing is rewriting, and you kind of keep seeing these people they unveil themselves to you, as you write them more and as you put them in more situations, and those situations inform other situations, and you go back and rewrite, based on like, Ashley wrote this in this scene, and it's like, that's a great blazer beat, and like I feel like it would actually, if we kind of pivoted this moment earlier, it might feel more like that, or whatever it might be. So it's kind of just approaching the script and story as a living organism, I think, until it feels hopefully what you're sort of quantifying as successful, and it's not just like, all right, just turn on the magic machine and let's start pumping out the ideas at the front, right? It's an iteration process. Sure. I think that really gets us there. Yeah. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it explains the fact that, these are characters that people really, really respond to. There was a thoughtfulness that went into the game, is what it means.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think, I mean, and I would be remiss in not just giving Pierre a lot of credit here, because he kind of like ran the whole thing. And I think most of these characters were sort of like, if not all of them, were sort of like characters of his, at least initial conception. And I think he just, before he even brought them to us, like had already sort of like had a headcanon for them and had a backstory for them and a voice, and you know what I mean? Like, and we added, people were complimentary to that, the rest of the writing team, but it was, you could tell pretty immediately that he had done his work, like at least in the core cast. And then like with the Z team, that was a little bit different because we had actually had like a whole different, I'm probably letting too many things be known right now, but we had a whole different Z team, I think, like when I first rolled on. And then we had hired our art director, and he was like, guys, these people are all like just people shaped. Like, you need, like, he's like, I'm going to teach you about shape language. And like, he taught us about like how like each character has a distinct silhouette, and like how, and like they started to take shape more visually first. And then we started sort of like looking at that and like, how do we subvert that, right? Gollum's a big rock monster. How do we just make sure he doesn't feel like every rock monster you've ever seen? Right. And like give him a specificity, and a lot of that came in casting, right? Like nobody expected when he opened his mouth that he sounds like a, like a white rapper from Missouri or wherever Gravy's from. But it was also, in the writing, and again, like, how do we subvert these archetypes and give them specificity, and just make sure that that Malevolent doesn't feel like every other demon lady, she's got this bespoke personality and like even, dresses like Cindy Crawford and like all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it was a little bit of everything kind of informing that.
It's fascinating because going through the process of you talking about like where it came from and how it got where it was, it's really funny because it's almost a double-edged sword of characterization when they talk to each other, when they interact. It feels very like, oh, originally this probably would have just been people acting with costumes on, right? And that's what it feels like, a show you could have filmed with actors acting and doing a thing. And then it also kind of hints at why originally the Z Team would have been people, and because they would have been people. And so changing it up and making it this awesome sort of animated characters and different things that it makes perfect sense, but it also still keeps the idea of why everything's so relatable, because it's just people. Like, even though they're wild, fantastical creatures, they're people.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, I'd be remiss in stating too that, like, I think we're fortunate in that we had a sort of collective odd experience of how we all got into this industry, and we all collected like weird odd jobs and like work experiences. And like for instance, I worked in restaurants. I was like a sous chef essentially for like 10 years, and like worked with, you know, there's no HR in a restaurant, right? So like, and I know that the other members of the team had these sort of experiences where like we were drawing on like personal experience, right? Like, what's it like to have a job with people who just constantly like, you know, like just make it harder for you, you know, but also make it more fun in doing that, you know, like you're able to be like, skip past a layer of bullshit and just get to like raw, brutal honesty, you know, and it just makes you essentially more effective at your job, or at least kind of like throws you into the deep end. And if you either sink or swim, or you can't, or you know, either swim or get the fuck out of the pool, or whatever the correct metaphor is here. But I think a lot of that made into the game, and I think that, you know, we're lucky enough to have like a team who has a great shared, or at least an interesting, I don't know about great, because, you know, sometimes jobs like this suck. Yeah. But have like an interesting shared pool of memories and experiences that we could draw upon.
That's one of the things that was immediately noticeable in all of the TikToks and shorts and Instagram whatevers, was most people saying roughly the same thing, which was, it's relatable. These are characters who all the, you know, there'd be like a short and it'd have text or whatever. And the text would always be about how like, this is just like my job. And it was extremely noticeable that people relating to the fact that these, like a Batman seemed relatable to you as a person. You know what I mean? Like, it's like this, you know, devil character, man, I work with that person. Like, it was great. I loved every bit of that. And I think that's why a lot of people did too. It's because it's just relatable. These seemed like real people.
Yeah, I'm glad, because I think at the end of the day, if they didn't, then again, our game is dead on arrival, because the story, you know, again, story is character, and if the character sucks, the story sucks, you know.
Was there anything that, once the game is out, once people have it, they're playing, was there anything that as a team, or maybe just as yourself, you saw people pick up on that you didn't think was going to be anything people cared about, or a character that everyone fell in love with, that you were like, oh, I can't believe that's okay? Was there anything like that surprised you?
Yes and no. I mean, I'm sure there's one that's not immediately coming to mind. I'm sure there's plenty of things that it might have to give me a second to sort of like cycle through. I think like the easy answer for me is at least until we cast Charlie as Sonar, I cut Sonar every time. So I was just surprised that like that he ended up being the more, and I think it's because Charlie was in the role. Sure. And to be fair, that the moment I heard Charlie's voice in the storyboards the first time, I laughed. You know, like he just like elevated the character. But yeah, I mean, like Coop is like an assassin with wings and knives, and then you just have like this like tech bro, like werewolf essentially. Like this is an easy choice for me. So the fact that I think it's been a little bit stilted the other way was a surprise. And I think too, I mean, I haven't checked the stats in a minute, basically since the episodes came out, but like even I think the Blazer and Visigal imbalance, so to speak. I'm surprised more people went in Visigal than Blazer. Not that I think like, I mean, we could talk separately about like my thoughts on who I would choose, et cetera. I just thought it'd be a little bit more balanced, you know?
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, and then, you know, there's multiple endings. I feel like I've thought that some of the endings just wouldn't be seen because, like you said at the beginning, I think most people would just want to be nice, you know? But the fact that certain endings were experienced and people kind of played in a way that got them there was, or as many people played in a way that got them there was interesting, you know?
Now, I don't know if it's an ending, and this is something that I only saw kind of like as a headline. I didn't get a chance to read the article, but I'm curious. There is talk in the ether of something people haven't seen. Is that what I'm hearing? What is? Yeah, I don't want to spoil how to get there, but
no, I keep getting that, you know, like pull quote in my Instagram feed as well. And if it is what I think it is, it's not necessarily like new story content. It's just like, it's basically like, can you max out on a certain aspect of the game and you'll get this thing that as far as we know, or at least as far as Nick knows, because he's the one I think that said it first publicly, like nobody's experienced that. No, he's not seen anybody get this end state, but it's very specific to one part of the game. I'm trying not to give it away because I don't know if he gave it away. But yeah, it's, you know, for those completionists out there, it might be something that they want to do.
Cool.
But it's not, I don't think it's going to blow anybody's mind when they experience, but it is a cool little like bonus, like, oh, I got that, you know?
All right. Okay, cool. Yeah, I was like, is it an ending? Is it like just a scene? What? I have so many questions, but
I want to
obviously
say
I don't
it's
want you
an
to spoil.
ending just so that people keep playing it and hopefully, and like, but I don't want to like misguide them. It's more an end stat than an ending.
Interesting.
Like it's not a new narrative moment.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to read the article, and I was like, what does that even mean? Screw it, I'll just ask.
I didn't either, so maybe I'm, you know, saying more than I should have, but whatever.
When it comes to the future, what is the process now? Where do you just, obviously it's the holidays, you're taking time off, but like, what happens next? I assume it's get back together and then what? Yeah,
I mean, today actually is my first day off, like, for the winter break.
Sorry to ruin that for you.
No, it's okay. This is fun. And otherwise I would have just like probably slept all day. So I'm glad that I got up because I have shit to do. But I wish I had more to give to you. I can tell you my hopes, you know. I hope we make a Dispatch season 2. I hope we make a Dispatch season 2. I hope that we take this formula and try it with hopefully another original IP. I know we've been, I wish I could say stuff. I know that we're still in talks with, or, you know, developing something with the Critical Role team, or at least in conversations with them. I don't know anything about that. I've met Laura a couple times in voice sessions, and that's as much as I've talked to that team. Yeah, it's, honestly, I just hope we make Dispatch season 2. But it was one of those things where it's like we all hoped for it, but when we were making this game, it was like, cool, this game has to be successful, or we're just like not going to be a studio anymore. You know, like maybe not quite that dire, but you know, it's always a fear.
Yeah.
So the game was, I think, successful beyond any of our wildest dreams. But the whole time we were like, I think when was the last episodes came out, November 12th or 11th or something like that. No, like nobody ever talked about what happened after those days for several years. You know, it's like we just got to get there and then we can sleep, and then hopefully, you know, get paid, and figure out where the income then gets directed. But I'm weird because like I'm off now and I'm like already like, oh, is there anything I can do? Like I like the work. I like this kind of work. I can't wait to get back into writers' rooms. I have my own little mirror board of like things that I would like to see in season 2, or the directions we might take the story, if we even continue this story, right?
Yeah.
Nobody's talked about it internally, so please don't take this as, you know, gospel by any means. But I've seen people, you know, reviewers and fans and everybody sort of like, maybe they should just leave it alone. If they do a season 2, they should just go to a different office with a whole new different team and a new dispatcher, right? Which is a move, right? So I haven't thought about that at all. I think at just high level though, we all like making these kinds of games. And we'd just like to make more of them, and we hope that people still continue liking them and enjoying them and playing them so that we can continue to make them. And that's as much as I really can say. I wish I had more. I really wish I had more. Yeah.
No, I get it. We said no spoilers, and we mean for the future as well.
Yeah. I wish I knew the spoilers of the future, because I'm like, shit, what happens now? You know, like what happens at the end of Visigel's goes right when everybody wanted her to go left, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do we service that? What's her future look like? You know?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people who think, oh, this is my canonical ending. And then you have to make the choice of what is correct, which is a whole other problem. So I do not envy that, but I'm sure it's fun.
I mean, we could, I can always just be like, well, this was the most popular one. I guess the fans chose it, you know?
Yeah, I'll be like, this is on you guys.
Yeah. Not that the studio will necessarily take that approach holistically, but you know, if it's up to me, I'm like, nope. That was the most popular choice, so I guess that's canon now.
Yeah. Chris, thank you for taking the time to talk with me. This has been an absolute treat. It's nice to see behind the scenes how it all came together, what the process was, what your thoughts were. This has been a treat for me. Thank you so much.
Good. I'm so glad. I was afraid I'd be boring, but hopefully it wasn't the case.
Not for me. I loved it.
Great. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, you know what time it is. It's time for the Geekenders podcast. MegaRan, Jesse and Dodger, what up? Let's go. Yo, it's the weekend. Yeah, it's time to geek out. Let it begin. Go on, stream and shout. It's Jesse and Dodger, so give them a follow and see what the Geekenders are all about. Yo, it's the weekend. Yeah, it's time to geek out. Let it begin. Go on, stream and shout. It's Jesse and Dodger, so give them a follow. #1 geek podcast, without a doubt. Yo, another end of another long week. Got a job and a kid, I know that you all beat. So take a second, grab a drink and vibe while we catch you up in just a matter of time. On gaming, comics, whatever you're doing. If you're nerdy like us, then you know you should tune in. Thank you for sharing our world with us. Now follow, subscribe, and turn this up. Yo, it's the weekend. Yeah, it's time to geek out. Let it begin. Go on, stream and shout. It's Jesse and Dodger, so give them a follow. #1 geek podcast, without a doubt.